Hey guys, Darth Glork here, back with part 7 of our Highway of Blossoms playthrough. So, last time we found the treasure, and what else did we do? We found the treasure, and we went to Las Vegas, which was fun. And so yeah, Amber and Marina decided to go to Las Vegas. They were officially confirmed as a couple, and that's fantastic. And yeah, and there was some awkward moments because, you know, Amber, like, I feel like that she makes everything worse. Like, she keeps making everything more awkward. Like, and maybe it's me, but I feel like that she's at least partially responsible for, like, I mean, she's feeling weird, and so, like, it kind of makes everything a little bit weird. And, you know, maybe that's me, but it's kind of what it feels like. But right where we left off. So right where we left off is so Marina and Amber briefly separated, so because Marina was gonna go get a surprise for Amber, but she didn't tell Amber where she was going. And although Amber was super scared to do it, she decided to go ahead and, I mean, you know, she didn't want to crush Marina's, like, happiness, and so she decided, you know what, go ahead and go, like, I'll you know, find something to do. So Marina took off. Amber went to a candy store and she bought Marina some candy, and then she came here, and now she's in the RV and she's dying because she's like, her mind is filled with worst case scenarios, and that's where we left off. So, I don't know if this will be the last episode or if the next one will be, but you know, we'll just play it by ear. Whatever happens, happens, man. So, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Anyway, I forced myself up and over to the driver's seat. I'm not going anywhere, but I can listen to music and watch for Marina's return. I stick in a tape and kick back. A few songs pass by. It's been 20 minutes or so. I start to scan the parking lot, looking for her familiar red hair. The tape ends. The tape ends. That's okay, it was a short one. I'll replace it with another one chosen at random. Or I replace it with another one chosen at random. Still no sign of Marina. I get up and check the clock. She's about 10 minutes late now. Maybe the clock is off somehow? I hop out of the RV and ask someone for the time. It matches up exactly with what the clock said. Worry begins to tighten my stomach, but I force myself to calm down. It's Marina, and she's only 15 minutes late. Most likely, she got distracted and is on her way right now. Five more minutes pass. I begin to pace back and forth. Should I go look for her? But I have no idea where to start, though. And if she got to the RV and I wasn't there, then she might go looking for me instead. No, I have to stay and wait. Another 10 minutes. She's half an hour late now. I'm so busy, I'm so buying us cell phones. As soon as she's back here, we are going to that guy on the street, and we're getting prepaid phones. From a few streets away, I can hear the sound of a siren, a fire truck or ambulance or something. The knot in my throat feels larger. I cough just to relieve some of the tension. I have to go look. I can't just take sitting here. I can't take just sitting here. I switch off the engine, throw my shoes on, and climb out. And then I see her. Head down, walking slow, but coming towards me.
Marina!
The relief in my voice probably conveys the panic that just drained out of me. She looks up at the sound of her name, but that's when I see that she's crying.
What's wrong?
I rush over.
What's wrong?
Alarm poisons my voice. Did something happen to her after all? I put my hands on her shoulders and shake her gently.
Marina, talk to me. What happened? Are you okay?
She still can't talk, but she nods. Thank God. There are no sobs, but her eyes are pouring tears. Every so often she hiccups like she's barely restraining herself from fully bawling.
Come on.
I take her hand and lead her back to the RV. No one gives us a second glance, so it's probably a common occurrence here. Marina silently follows me into the RV. I lead her to my bed and have her sit down. I sit beside her. Alternating between rubbing her back and her shoulders, I try to get her to calm down. Slowly, her breathing slows to normal. When I offer her a tissue, she blows her nose loudly. Then she takes a few more to wipe her eyes. Rather than prod her more, I wait, even though it takes all of my self-control. After a shuddery breath, she looks at me, eyes still watering.
I messed up, Amber. Bad.
How?
Her breath catches again and she sobs. It's hoarse and seems to take her by surprise. I immediately rub her shoulders again. And then there's a knock at the RV door.
What the hell?
I stand up, but I can't see who it is from here.
I'll be right back.
I unlock the front door and open it to an all too familiar face.
It's time to pay up.
I shut the door. Before it's even fully latched, Mariah starts to pound on the door. I like how she just immediately shuts the door. I lock it and head back to Marina.
Let them in.
Huh?
Go let them in. It's Mariah, right?
Yeah, but how did you... Wait, does this have something to do with...
Marina nods. With a bad feeling about it all, I go back to the door, which is still suffering Mariah's assault. I open up and step back so they can enter. Mariah storms in with a huff, acting like always as if she owns the place. Joseph and Tess file in after her. Joseph gives a smile and a small shake of the head.
Sorry.
He says it so quietly that I don't think anyone else hears. I'll find out why he's apologizing here in a second. Like a conqueror, Mariah marches over to Marina and jabs a finger in her face.
Time to pay up, ditz.
I hope Amber breaks her. In 2 large steps, I move between the 2 of them.
Okay, what the hell happened?
Didn't you hear?
I was about to, when you attacked my front door.
Well, allow me to deliver the bad news then. Sis stole Marina's gold.
What? Did not?
It's impossible to figure anything out. Marina's crying too hard to talk. Mariah's just yelling nonsense like always. I turn to Joe, who's keeping a safe distance along with Tess.
Can you please explain?
Sure. Mare ended up making Marina a bet for all the gold, which she lost. It was a pretty silly thing, and I told her just to let it go, but here we are.
I'm equal parts amused and disgusted that Joseph uses the same nickname for Mariah that I do for Marina. Come to think of it, I'm not sure that I ever noticed how similar their names are. How could you not notice? Like, they're practically the same. They're like 1 letter off. It's really hard for my poor dyslexic brain to keep up with.
A bet's a bet, and she lost fair and square. I don't think it was fair.
Thank you, Tess.
The odds were kinda in your favor.
Thank you, Joe. I turn to Marina, the only person whose opinion really matters to me.
Was it fair?
Slowly, she nods.
What game did you play?
Poker.
I glare at Mariah, who at least has the shame to look away. Anyone who spent more than a minute around Marina would know that there's no way she could keep a straight face. I sigh and sit down on the bed next to Marina. I wrap an arm around her. She leans into me, eyes moist.
You know you can only take half the treasure, right? Marina and I split it equally, so she couldn't bet away my half.
That wasn't the deal.
Tough.
That's the only deal she could have made. But I'll bet you my half against hers.
Amber, no!
Do it, Amber. Crush her. I squeeze her affectionately, but I shake my head.
It's fine.
I go and stand to where we've been stashing the gold. I pull out the box of nuggets and open it so Mariah can see. Her eyes light up and she licks her lips. I snap the box shut.
Fine, but we're not playing poker.
Yeah, it's because she knows she would never be able to read Amber. That's why. It's because, like, Amber has, like, stony, like, just stone-faced. So that's why she's not playing, because she knows she would not be able to beat Amber in a poker contest.
Oh yeah? What game then?
She thinks about it for a moment.
Blackjack.
Complete luck. Seriously? Blackjack is more about luck than it is skill. It's almost all luck. But and that's not me dissing like blackjack, okay? Like of all like the casino-esque games, blackjack is my favorite. I've never like gone into a casino to play it, but there's been a few times where I played it, mostly in Red Dead Redemption. And blackjack is awesome. Poker, there's way too many rules for me to remember, but blackjack's fun. Anyway, I digress. I'm not that great at poker though, so blackjack might be the most fair game we could play. I wonder why Mariah suggested it though. Maybe she expects me to win at poker. If that's the case, then the mind games have already begun.
Fine. It's a bet.
That's my bet. I think that's why. Marina stopped crying. Her breath still comes in little spurts, but she's mostly in control of herself. She tugs at my shirt.
Amber, really? You don't have to do this. I screwed up.
Do it, Amber.
It's okay. I'll fix it. That's what I'm here for, right?
I can't read the look on her face, the one that vanishes after a split second.
Okay.
Facing Mariah again, I put the gold away.
Where will we play? There's not enough room here.
There's a casino close by. Down the street from this one. We can do it there.
I'm not old enough to gamble. Not legally, at least.
She shrugs.
Doesn't matter. This place won't check your ID. Probably gonna be closed within a year.
I don't like the sound of that. I feel like I'm being set up.
It's true. It's where we played.
Really?
Yeah, they had like party rooms that were empty. We just used one of those.
I've never heard of anything like this place, but if they let Marina in, then they'll probably let me in too. I'd also feel better about playing cards that I know Mariah won't have messed with.
Fine. Tell me how to get there, and I'll meet you in a little bit.
She gives me directions as well as the name of the building. Worst case, Marina can probably help her find it, maybe. Or help find it, maybe. I count on Marina's half of the gold and I count out Marina's half the gold and put it into one of the boxes before handing it to Mariah, who snatches it from my grip.
Enjoy, because this is the only time you'll get to touch the treasure.
You know, if she was less like, I was about to say if she was less honorable, but really she's probably not honorable at all. Maybe if it had occurred to her, she could have taken that half and bailed. I'm just saying it technically it's possible. I'm not saying that's what should have happened, alright? I'm just saying that technically she has that half, like, I mean, but that's the thing though, maybe it did occur to her, but she's so greedy, she's like, I can win and get the whole thing. Maybe so, I don't know. With a final sneer, Mariah leads the troop out of the RV. Joseph still looks pretty sorry about the whole thing. The door slams shut and we're left in silence. I look at Marina, she looks at the floor.
I'm really sorry.
I'm not even that upset. Compared to all the 1,000,001 awful scenarios I'd concocted, this is pretty tame. And knowing Marina, it's not that shocking either. So I'm being honest when I smile at her.
It's okay, really. I'll go win back your gold, and then we can get out of Vegas.
She sniffles.
Seriously, though, what were you thinking?
I was just so surprised to see them here. I thought it must be fate or something. I was shopping around and I saw something that I really wanted, but I didn't have enough money. And then I saw the three of them at this little diner, so I went in to say hello and told them all about it.
What was it you wanted to buy?
That's a secret. I wanted to show it to you. But anyway, then Mariah made me that bet and I don't know, Amber. I guess I just got so excited about it that I didn't really think. Like, if you'd been there, you would have beat her no problem. I don't even think she's very good at poker. It's just that I'm kind of bad at hiding how I feel.
I can't help but laugh.
No way, you're kidding me.
She sticks her tongue out at me. Guess she's feeling a little bit better.
Really, though, what if you lose to Mariah?
Then I lose. It won't happen, though.
Are you good at blackjack?
A lot of it's luck. There's stuff you can memorize, like card combos, but I don't know any of that.
I didn't even know you could do that much, to be honest. Didn't even know you could do that much. But like, I feel like it's all it is like luck and a tiny bit of like first grade math, right? So that's not very hard.
What if Mariah does?
I doubt it. She would have played that against you if she did. Easier to make it seem like you just got unlucky, instead of her taking advantage of you.
She didn't take...
Bullshit, Mare. She might not have cheated, but she still should have known better.
Marina frowns and looks at the floor again. I can't tell if I'm helping or not. Then I remember the candy I bought from earlier. It had totally slipped my mind over the last hour.
Oh yeah, I got you something. To try to say sorry for being so weird lately. Even though I've already said that too.
I grab the bag of chocolates from the fridge and the gummies from above it. Eyes wide, Marina holds them to her like babies.
Amber,
Her eyes start to water again.
thank you so much.
Hey, no more crying. This wasn't supposed to make you cry.
She giggles, but that doesn't stop two tears from running down her face.
Sorry, I'm crying a lot.
Kinda, yeah.
Marina laughs again. She unties the gummy bag and digs around in it.
The chocolates got a little melted on the walk back, but they've been in the fridge.
They look just fine to me.
She pulls out a few gummy soda bottles and then offers me the bag. I don't want to take too much, but I do find one of the peach rings that the cashier recommended. It really is good. Sweet, but in a mild way. It actually tastes like peaches.
Are you ready to go?
Marina spits the bag to twist, spits. Marina spins the bag to twist it, then ties off the top.
Yeah.
That would not be very good if she just spits in the bag. Like, why? Anyway, I vaguely know where the casino Mariah mentioned is located, but we passed it earlier today, but I didn't pay much attention to it. As we load out of the RV, Marina's dragging her feet.
Do you want to wait here? I can just go take care of this and then come back.
No way. I don't want to split up again.
I think that's a great plan. After I lock up, I take her hand. Since I'm in the lead this time, the walk isn't as slow. With the evening approaching, the temperature's gone down. At the same time, traffic is starting to build up. In a few hours, it'll look like an entirely different city here once all the lights come on. The view of the big city at night, far in the distance, has always been one of my favorite sights. I can remember staying up late when Gramps and I were on the road so that I could press like a sticker against the window and look. I will say that though, that she is right about that. Seeing like a big old city lit up at night when you're like far enough away that you could take it all in is super cool. And that is one positive thing I could say about New Mexico. Is Albuquerque, there is not a lot of height. Like we only have a few super tall buildings and it's in downtown. 90% of our buildings are super short because whatever, we have all the space in the world, so just might as well make it flat and wide. But regardless, the positive thing I can say is, so because of it, our city's very, very wide. Even, I mean, at least it seems like it to me. But after, there's a few ways into the city, and if you've been going into the city at night, there's lots of hills, the very light little hills, but it's enough to block the view. So when you go over a hill at night, then all of a sudden you could see like the valley in front of the mountain, and you could see all of like Albuquerque, for instance, and it's like, it's so big and all bright and lit up, it's so pretty. So I'll say that's a positive thing. Although that's not even unique to Albuquerque though, because you could say that about any city you were pulling up into at night, just saying. They sell postcards of New York and Atlanta and other places all lit up because it's so pretty. We've got a couple hours till then. Neither Marina nor I say much while we walk. Even given the situation, it doesn't feel as awkward as some of our quiet times before. I agree. Soon we reach the building Mariah described.
That's the place?
Yeah, this is it.
We step inside. I can see why Mariah said this place might be closed soon. Although it's pretty clean looking, there's hardly anyone here. A couple of people occupy slot machines far away from each other. Aside from those two and a bored-looking host, the place is pretty empty. Well, those three and the trio, Mariah and her posse are seated on a semi-circular couch. It and an identical couch form a circle around a card table. No greetings are exchanged as Marina and I take our places across from them. A sealed deck of cards sits on the table. It's got gaudy Las Vegas landmarks and logos all over it, but at least it's legit.
Should we ask that guy to come deal for us?
Hell no! The only reason they don't check ID is because they don't care. If you attract any attention, they'll throw you out.
Okay, so who will?
Tess can.
Tess nods.
Really? No offense, but does she even know how?
Of course she knows how. She's not an idiot. And before you get any ideas, she's more likely to help you cheat than help me.
Too real. Tess nods again.
Just ask.
Just ask and I will absolutely screw over my sister.
Alright, that works for me.
Because if two underage girls are going to play, then why not have a 10-year-old deal the cards? Mariah slits open the plastic wrap on the deck and then hands it to Tess. The little girl takes out the instructional cards and the jokers and then shuffles. I have to say I'm impressed. She creates a bridge with the cards that's way tidier than I could ever do. Mechanical even.
So there are 16 pieces total. We'll go piece by piece, I guess.
Sure.
That means I'd have to win 8 hands in a row, without Mariah or the dealer winning any. To even back all of Marina's to earn back all of Marina's treasure, and I won't settle for anything less than the full amount. We have a small stack of tokens near us that each represent a single piece of treasure.
How does this game work?
Basically, you try to get the cards in your hand to add up to 21, or as close as possible without going over. Whoever's closest wins that round. The dealer can win too. We all get 2 cards. Then, you can stand, which is where you don't take any more cards, or you can hit, which is where you draw another.
That sounds really easy.
Told you, it's like 80% chance.
I guess. Like I said, it's mostly luck.
See? What did I just say?
Shut up. Time to play.
I flip her off, but don't argue. Ooh. I'm doing math. Tess lays, I don't even have to, like, did they just spell it out? But I immediately looked, I'm like, ooh, what'd you get? Anyway, Tess deals us the first hand. I stand while Mariah hits. I don't expect her to beat my 18, but she lays down a 10, a 3, and a 6.
Damn.
Tess slides her 2 tokens. Hey, that's better. Well, on the next round, I beat her. I win the next 2 rounds after that, and then the dealer wins, and we have to start over. The game drags on for a long time. Joseph has fallen asleep, head lolling backwards over the couch. Even Marina, who has both her honor and money at stake here, is starting to fidget. We've been playing for close to an hour. She doesn't complain at all, though. After a while, even Mariah and I are starting to get annoyed. She sighs and shifts irritably while I debate what to do. And when she takes her time thinking, I bite down the ears to say something snarky and hurry her along. Once Tess wins again, when we're both sitting at 3 pieces each, Mariah wipes her palms and clears her throat.
This is taking forever. Yep.
And that's the problem, is you'd have to win the whole thing, you know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, that you could be there forever.
But if you're saying we just call it here, the answer is no.
No. But let's just go all or nothing. One final hand. Then you won't be able to say I cheated or took advantage of anyone, and I can finally relax with my treasure.
I think about it. One more hand, huh? The odds are probably better than if we were to sit here all night. Maybe. I'm not good enough at math to calculate. I don't know. I lean towards thinking it is better because, like, you could go all night, and both of you might be going a little up and a little down, and like, who's to say, right? It would be possible that we're here until the festival comes around if we keep going back and forth like this. See, exactly. I look over at Marina, whose interest has been piqued again.
What do you think?
She gives it a long thought, but her face betraying nothing. Then she shrugs.
I have no idea.
She's like, just decide, I don't know. Right then.
Fine. All or nothing.
Mariah nods satisfied.
Deal 'em, kid.
Tess passes out our cards. Oh man, here we go. I pick mine up, holding them so only Marina can see. A 9 and a 7. Not awful, but not great. Oh, 16. That's not good. That's not good. Hopefully she gets like a 2. Tess is showing an 8. I try to gauge some sort of reaction from Mariah. Her face is totally expressionless. No wonder she beat Marina at poker.
Amber?
I think that's the first time she's ever said my name. It sounds weird coming from her.
I'll stand.
Yeah, I would definitely stand too, for sure. If I were to take a hit and draw another card, there's a pretty good chance it would put me over blackjack, and that would be a loss by default.
Sis?
Hit me.
All right, Tess slides her another card, then flips one over the whole card. It's a 4 for a grand total of 12. That means we still beat her, at least.
Let's
least.
see.
I lay down my cards and wait for Mariah to do the same. Except she doesn't. She just looks at my cards flat on the table, face stony, mouth silent. Then she makes a sound of disgust and stands as she flings her 3 cards towards the table. I flip them over to see a 3, a 2, and a 10. Ha, she lost.
We win.
Hey, you won back all your treasure. Huzzah! I will say this, though, that I'm wondering if, I wonder if that's, like, just the difference in their natures, right? That she's more of a gamble and get what I want type of thing, like, more greedy, and, like, the greediness screws her over. It's hard to say. Obviously Amber's much less like that, so I would just be curious. That's all I say. Marina looks at me, then at the table, then back at me, making sure she heard right.
We did?
Yeah. The total of her hand was closer to 21 than hers was.
Strangely, I don't even feel excited. Not about the victory, which is nice, or the fact that it came over Mariah, which is nicer. I just feel relieved. Marina squeals and then explodes towards me, half leaping, half tackling me into a hug as I nearly fall off the couch. She plants a large kiss on my cheek and then travels over to my mouth.
Oh god, Amber! I was so worried, but oh my god, thank you! You're the best!
Her praises are dotted with kisses all over my face. Joseph, woken up by the commotion, looks away with a blush. Tess, on the other hand, stares at us, creepily apathetic. I separate myself from Marina and stand up. Mariah has already traveled halfway to the door, not saying anything in her defeat. The little wooden box of gold sits abandoned where her arm was. I check and count the pieces of treasure. They're all here. I start to move towards Mariah to say something, but Joseph clucks his tongue. I stop.
Don't worry about her. She's always like this.
Sorry.
Not sure what else to say. I half shrug, which is hard since Marina still clings to my arm.
Don't be. Better things work out this way. Come on, kiddo.
He takes Tess's hand and they start to follow Mariah, who's left the building.
You ladies take care.
You too.
Good job, Joe. Good job, Joe. Sorry I talked over you, Marina. Good job, Joe. He's like the most normal dude here. Once they leave, I look down at the mass of chips and cards at the table. Someone will come by and clean them up. Marina tugs on my shirt. When I look at her, she kisses me on the lips again. For the first time today, we stayed like that for a long time, not caring about how many stares we might be getting, though it can't be more than 3. I can still taste the fate saltiness from her tears. I feel her lips curve into a smile even before we pull apart.
Thank you. Seriously.
She did it! They're, like, once again, they are filthy rich.
I know I'm always saying thank you and sorry, but I am sorry that I screw up so much.
Don't worry about it. It all worked out, right?
Yeah, but only because you were there. I don't know what I would have done if you weren't.
Well, if I wasn't, then you wouldn't be either, you know?
I meant it as a joke, but she doesn't laugh, just leans into me.
I know.
Then we kiss again. We must look like perverts just standing in the middle of the casino making out.
You ready to get out of Vegas?
Definitely. But, one thing first.
What's that?
Can we get something to eat?
I was hoping you'd say that. I saw this Chinese place earlier that smelled amazing. Sound good?
Very.
Hand in hand, like always, we leave the casino and make a quick walk to the restaurant. I'd come across it while waiting for Marina before. All along the strip, more and more lights are coming on. It's hard to tell that it's getting much darker out because of how much artificial light there is. We get to the restaurant and eat outside on the patio, watching as more and more buildings are illuminated. By the time we're done and back to the RV, Las Vegas has fully shifted from daytime to artificial daytime. Before we buckle in, I pull back all of the curtains.
Make sure you get a good spot by the window. You're gonna want to see this.
Hey, look at that pretty picture. Anyway, it starts slowly. Just a few lights in apartment windows coming to life, or lonely street lights flickering on. I drive slowly so as to keep us here longer. Beside me, Marina shifts impatiently but doesn't say anything. By now, she knows when I'm being serious. I know she won't be disappointed. As more and more lights flare up across the skyline, I could see Marina's shift to get a better view. I smiled to myself. This is what I was waiting for. Oh, look how sweet it is, everybody. You feel the heartstrings being plucked? I certainly do. It's so sweet. What she was waiting for, even if she didn't know it. Las Vegas lights up like a forest of Christmas trees, glimmering orange and yellow against the muddy blackness of the night sky. The further away from the heart of the city we get, the more of the gorgeous sprawl we can see. Soon, it's so immense that the entire world seems to be awash with forest color. I ignore the signs that will lead us the way out of Las Vegas, and instead cruise along the streets that will let us admire for longer. Marina's head slowly turns with every bend in the road, her gaze magnetically fastened to the city. Skyscrapers zoom by, each one another pillar of light. The casinos, which have gaudier decorations, make an exotic contrast to the mundane office and apartment buildings. Marina drinks it all in like water out here in the desert. Light from the window frames her face, and I remember how I thought of her as angelic back in Zion. Now the word is even more fitting, because of the way her open-mouthed smile enhances the effect. She catches me watching, and just for a second, the smile's directed at me. Then she turns back to Vegas, which is finally starting to recede as we head out of town. Hey, it's so adorable. It's so sweet. She's silent until long after it's faded from the rearview mirror. Then she clears her throat and finally looks at me again.
We're going back one day, right?
Yeah, I would say you should go back to every place you've seen, but go back when you're only there to sightsee. That would be on my bucket list if I was you two. Just saying.
Sure, if you want.
Good, because we didn't even get to do like a nickel...
Quarter.
A quarter of the super cool stuff we should have done.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Even if I do live like a gross hermit, I know what Vegas has to offer, but I like seeing her excited. There's always a genuine spark of wonder that's ignited when she is. It might have to do with her lack of experience, but I like to think that she'd be the same regardless.
Well, there's this pirate sun show that looks really cool. I heard about another show with fountains and lights that shoots water way up high in the air and... Oh...
That's actually one part that I remember. I think I remember like a fountains and lights show when I was in Vegas, like the one time I've been to Vegas, like inside to sightsee. That kind of sounds familiar. She spreads her arm far apart and scrunches her face down, giving herself a double chin.
I want to try every single buffet in town.
That's a lofty goal, Marina.
But we're rich now.
I thump her head and squish her down with the palm of my hand.
And we almost lost all of that in a single day. So you should know how easy it is to blow it.
It's true. Spend wisely so you can invest in your future.
Well, I think it would be romantic. We can rent out a hotel room, order a really nice bottle of wine, and just cuddle by the window and look at the lights.
A wistful look gleams in her eyes as she gazes out the window into the vast desert night, sighing like I had just stepped out of the royal carriage and swept her off her feet. Never mind the fact that Marina has probably never tried wine in her life and would spit it out the second it touched her lips. That does sound really nice. Guess I have some high expectations to live up to. I've always had them, but now it feels more official. Now, more than ever, I'm obligated to keep her happy and safe. Those thoughts occupy my mind for an hour or so as we traverse the desert highway. Marina's gone back to staring out the window at the barely visible roadside. We pass a sign right off the side of our deserted lane. We're pushing 80 or so. We're pushing 80, so we almost miss it, but I catch a quick glimpse as we speed by. Nothing special, just a dusty sheet of aluminum with a picture of poppies and 3 words printed on it. Welcome to California. It's gone before I can even process it. Huh, guess we're in California. It doesn't look like Marina noticed, and why would she? We've passed several state lines, and it was never a big deal then. No welcoming party or even a government checkpoint, and that suits me just fine. She hasn't brought up her surprise anymore either, whatever it was. Probably better to just let her forget about that. But that doesn't mean the day is over yet, and the places that geezer would always yak on about may as well be stapled onto my brain.
Hey, you trust me?
Her head perks up and she turns away from the window, answering without delay.
Of course I do. Why?
Just checking.
And that's that. No more questions, just blind trust. I continue driving, eventually branching off onto an exit, another thing I don't think Marina notices. Soon, budding lights start popping up in the distance, typical yellows and whites barely hovering above the road with one exception. Towering on the horizon, outlined in neon red with digital numbers climbing towards the sky, is a giant monstrosity of a thermometer. It caps off above the middle, reaching temperatures all the way up to 62 degrees. Finally, it dawns on Marina. Her head twists towards me like an owl, her eyes just as wide as one.
Amber, what's going on?
She feigns concern at first, but her voice curls up in mid-sentence, unable to hide her smile any longer.
You said you trust me, right?
And I do.
Marina tilts over and rubs up on my shoulder. I go dead stiff, again feeling the weight of that trust and responsibility. We drive into town, which as far as I can tell is just one big street. Old beat-up gas stations and fast food joints line the side of the road, separated by an occasional diner. The thermometer is tucked away, hidden in a corner, but it may as well be the center of the universe, the rest of the world zooming by it on an interstate. I pull into the lot by the thermometer, its only neighbor being a small shack. The sound of the ignition dwindles down to nothing, leaving the RV parked wherever. I'm the first one to get out, crawling the sweet stationary concrete as I stretch my legs. Wobbling in front of the thermometer, I flop my hands at my sides, dotting our arrival.
Here we are, the world's tallest thermometer.
Marina steps out of the RV, eyes sparkling, mouth wide open in awe, her face frozen in time. She reaches into the motorhome and pulls out her camera, a single flash shooting out from it as she winds the camera for the next shot.
I thought you might like it.
A smug grin finds a home on my face as I revel in the pride and satisfaction of knowing I did something to make her smile. Except she's not smiling. She's staring, not at the thermometer now, but me, a near lifeless gaze cloaked by the dimming headlights of the motorhome.
Marina?
Readying her stance, she pushes her feet off the ground and charges towards me.
If we're doing this, then we're doing it right.
She's like, wait, no, please.
Wait, Marina!
There you go. See, I told you the alarm would be there. Too late. Before I can even finish my plea, she swings around my neck and snugly brings me to her side, swooshing out the camera and aiming it right at us.
Hey, Amber.
Her finger inches closer to the button.
Don't do it!
Say...
She draws out the word to an excruciating length. I struggle to break free, but then she just squeezes me tighter.
I'm warning you!
Hey, tease.
She bends in and presses her lips against my cheek. Hey, hold and flash.
Huh.
She's like, I didn't want to die. I guess that's progress. I stare at the camera mid-blink, my non-reaction drawing out a cute giggle from her. And then it hits me, a thought so mortifying and embarrassing that it shades my skin a pink and red gradient. She thinks this is cute. She thinks this is cute. At this point, I'm butter, or clay from Marina's perspective. Hey, look at all the cute pictures, guys. They're so adorable. And that's exactly what she treats me as, molding me into new positions as she snaps more photos. She's so happy. Before she whines for the next photo, I nudge her head with mine. She nudges back, both of us cuddling against each other as she snaps the next picture. She takes several more shots, each one a little more gooberish and drenched in cheesy romantic goo than the last. Hey, more adorable pictures. They're so adorable. I'd probably die if anyone ever saw these, or if anyone ever sees these, but with any luck, Marina's constant bouncing will hopefully make a few of these come out fuzzy. Still, I think I might love this, like a lot. When we first met, I didn't think I'd ever understand the naive ball of energy just looking for some help. In a lot of ways, I still don't. I drove by at such a perfect time. Who even knows what would have happened to her? Thinking about it still drives me nuts. But still, those types of things don't seem nearly as big as they used to. Even almost losing the treasure to Mariah was just a sizzling drop in the frying pan. If anything, I'm more upset that I wasn't there to help her when it went down. After all, that's why I'm here, to help and protect her. She makes me so happy. With my hand now wrapped around Marina, I clench her tighter, only for my hand to be met with an adorable gurgling rumble transmitted from her stomach. We both look down at the source, her with a bashful sort of terror, and me with amused disbelief.
Even after all that food at the buffet,
I can't help it.
you're a bottomless pit. The Marina Trench.
Haha, but alright.
Amber, please. That one wasn't even clever.
I thought it was kind of clever. I mean, you know, for a pun. I cackle with glee, tossing her the keys to the RV as I walk over to the nearby shack.
I'm just messing with you, babe. Go lock up. We'll grab a bite and sleep here for the night.
The shack is sad and abandoned, the cute logo of a little chef carrying an oversized bun all but faded away. I peek inside the Browning windows. It's more of the same, rusty and decaying. Outlines of tables and booths are imprinted in dust, while the ones built into the walls were just left to rot. It was always just a side thing he mentioned about when talking about the thermometer, but not being able to experience everything he mentioned feels wrong, like I'm not doing right by him. Damn.
Looks like that's one more thing I can check off your list.
Marina waltzes into the diner, keeping the door open for me as we scurry in from the breezy entryway. Immediately, she's drawn to the claw machine in the corner, filled to the brim with non-specific and unlicensed stuffed animals. Her eyes glitter as she tries to get me to notice the glass box of wonders. Coming from anyone else, this action would be subtle, maybe a few quick glances at most. Coming from Marina, not so much. Instead, she repeatedly swings her head in the direction of the machine, like she's trying to form a giant crescent moon with her neck. But I know Marina well enough now, well enough to know exactly which one she wants. Snuggled between a fuzzy ball with googly eyes and a lion with a crown lies the Holy Grail, a gray wolf with a polka dot bow tie. Unfortunately for her, our waitress is already waving us over to our seats. Marina stares into the glass, her foggy reflection lining up with the wolf. I take her hand and lead her to the booth. Once there's some distance between us and the waitress, I lower my voice.
Don't worry, I'll give it a whirl after we eat.
Marina, however, can't take a hint and blurts out her response, alerting every weary soul in the diner.
Whoa, you actually know how to win at those? I've never been any good at them.
A counter lined with jumbo clones, being the truck driver, if you guys remember. Clones turned around and glares at us before shaking their heads and returning to their meals. Oh well.
Of course I do. You know how many of these diners I went to as a kid?
A lot.
When you eat at the same place almost every day, you get good. Fast.
Wow, you're like a claw goddess.
Damn right.
Marina oogles me like the claw goddess I am as we take our seats at the booth. I gladly accept her glory and praise. The waitress flops the menus on our table and silently waits for us to order our drinks. Yeah, she's like, I don't have to be polite, like I'm the only waitress in this tiny little town.
Just coffee for me.
With her eyes glazing over, she turns to Marina.
What kind of shakes do you have?
The waitress reaches her wrinkly hand across the table and tosses the dessert menu in front of Marina. She flips through the menus and strains her eyes shut, focusing on what very well may be the most important decision of her life.
Amber, you got coffee, right?
Right.
Then that's what I'll get.
Overflowing with certainty, she stares at the waitress and gives her a direct, confident command.
I'll have the coffee shake. Extra whipped cream.
The waitress doesn't even bother to write this down, instead dragging her body back to her tomb in the kitchen. Ouch. Miranda, I said Amber, I don't know why I was thinking Miranda. Amber is so cynical. She's so mean, like that poor old waitress. Yeah, she's not that polite, but she's old. Like, what do you want from her?
You know that shake isn't gonna taste the same as my coffee, right? It's just gonna be a ton of ice cream and cheap coffee flavoring.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I at least gotta try it, for your sake.
Why would you choke down a crappy shake for my sake?
You do everything for me. Everything.
Of course I do. That's my job.
A stiff chuckle slips out from under her breath.
Right. But I want to do things for you too.
So you're ordering the coffee shake as a cosmic favor. You're losing me, Mare.
She whines, momentary frustration seeping onto her face.
No, not like that. It's silly, but I want to poke around in your mind a little. That way I can do favors and help. So I guess it's not just for your sake, but for both of our sakes.
She smiles and rests her head to the side as if expecting my shoulder to be there like always. Realizing she's only leaning on air, Marina blinks, then tries to play it off with a tiny cough.
I saw that.
Before I could take my teasing to more exciting places, the waitress returns from the kitchen, barely managing to balance our drinks on the platter as my coffee sloshes everywhere. She doesn't seem to care. She places our drinks on the table, then limps out her notepad and pen to take our orders.
Thanks, but I'll stick with coffee.
Marina is too distracted by the shake to notice. Her eyes climb up the tower of extra whipped cream as it twirls to the ceiling, rivaling the thermometer outside.
Snap 2. What do you want?
Oh,
She opens up the big menu and flips through the pages multiple times, back to front, side to side, even upside, repeating the process every time.
Before we miss the festival, Mare.
I know, but there's just so much to choose from. I have to be picky.
You didn't have a problem vacuuming up everything at the buffet.
Marina drops the menu. If it were a few extra pounds heavier, I'm pretty sure she would have dropped it on my feet. Handing over the menus to the waitress, she leans over the table, inches away from my face. She places her order, her pupils burn with intensity.
I'll have the pancake sandwich.
Dead serious. The waitress wobbles away, somehow not collapsing on her way back to the kitchen. I try not to burst out laughing at Marina, but it doesn't work. The cracks are showing. Stilted snorts and spurts of snickering keep leaking out. Marina's cheeks puff out, getting brighter as I bubble over.
Why do you have to tease me about everything, Amber?
I break. My laugh echoes across the diner. Again, we're met with glares, but I don't even care.
Fine. Maybe I won't share the treasure with you after all.
I wave off her empty threat and settle down.
I'm sorry. It's just that.
Done laughing, I rest my chin on the table and start fumbling with the salt and pepper shakers.
That's what Gramps used to order. All the time.
Marina has already reverted back to her usual self, watching me pass the salt and pepper back and forth like she wants to join in too.
It's so weird. Just 2 huge pancakes with eggs, bacon, and ham smashed in the middle. Things drenched in syrup.
That sounds super tasty, though.
I chuckle and slide her the pepper.
I'm sure you'll love it.
Now it's just a salt shaker sliding between my hands.
He never eats the eggs. Always just passes them on to me. They're so gross. Just scrambled and cold and sticky. I always tell him no, but the dork just laughs and says he's gonna keep egging me on.
No, that's awful.
Every single time.
Marina laughs at the stupid joke. I laugh
We
too.
would just end up bringing it home in a box. And when it went bad, he would just take it out of the fridge and say, "That's all, yokes!" Like it was the most clever freaking thing.
Another really bad one. Sorry, my voice broke. Another really bad one. She laughs even harder at that one. I think I do too. I keep my eyes focused on the shaker, sliding it faster and faster. Oh, kids, this is where it gets bad.
When we go home, you two really need to get together and meet.
Yeah, there it is. All right, solid. The salt shaker tips on my pinky and topples over, spilling a few grains of salt. Marina is tense, but forces a smile anyway. She sighs. We both look down and go silent.
I think I'm gonna head back to the RV.
I get up and reach into my pocket, placing a bill on the table.
Amber?
Don't worry, I'll be fine. Just need some time.
Leaving Marina behind me, I walk out of the diner. Yeah, God forbid this ended on a good note. Literally, that'd be awful if it ended well. That would be horrible. Definitely, 100, just so horrible. All right. Glazing hot tears stream down my cheeks as I stumble through the motorhome. I'm choking, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. How could I forget, even only for a second? Am I really that heartless? I want to throw up. I can barely stand, tearing down all the magnets on the fridge as I trip over my own tears. The next thing I know, I'm falling onto the bed, and even though I land on its stiff concrete springs, I still feel like I'm falling. The ceiling is getting further and further away as I sink deeper. I jerk myself up, faced with the photo that has comforted and haunted me for so long. For a second, I smile. For a second, I smile again too, but then I remember and it fades just as quickly. The tears start flowing again, harder than ever before. I curl up in a ball and bury my face into my knees. It doesn't help muffle my crying, cover the shame, or even make me feel any better. I just cry. The cracks have been forming for a while, and now I've shattered. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to glue myself back together. It never occurred to me just how hard it would be when he was gone. Growing up, I wasn't just his responsibility, we were each other's responsibility. How many credit cards did I max up in those last few months? Even after he told me to stop, I kept pushing. Bank calls, doctor calls, middle of the night ER visits, everything. But nothing helped, nothing. I tried so hard, but in the end, I had to watch my best friend, the only person who ever wanted me, wither away. He held up his end of the bargain. Through every discovery, every stupid heartbreak, and every fight with Ma, he always took care of me and always just loved me. I couldn't hold up mine though. I failed. Even now, I kept finding holes in everything he did. Or even now, I keep finding holes in everything he did. I could have found a specialty hospital. I could have read up more on new forms of medicine too. I could have, but I didn't. See, again, that is so not true. That is so not true. Like, there's only so much you can do, man. Like, I don't know. I've had extended family, and my grandfather has passed away too. Okay, like obviously it's a super hard thing. Okay, but after a certain point, you've got to accept that, like, man, sometimes people's time is that you do everything you can. Like, you can't prevent death, unfortunately. That's the truth of it. You know? And so it's rough, but you cannot torture yourself over it. Like, there's nothing she could have done by the sounds of it to me, you know? Anyway, I'm just saying. And now he's gone. My pants are damp, they've been soaking up all my tears, but I don't care. I just want my grandpa back. The motorhome door opens and brushes against the outside wall, followed by soft footsteps that creak alongside the floor. Marina. I try to act quick, sneaking a final few sniffs in before wiping away my tears, but it's no use. They just keep trickling down. She appears in the doorway. I turn away and drown out the sobbing with my hand. It's so embarrassing. She shouldn't have to see me like this, but I don't think I can muster enough composure to ask her to leave without breaking down. Marina reaches out for me, drenched with worry, but realization sets in and her eyes soften, reflecting a deep sense of genuine empathy and love. Silent, she sits down next to me and wraps her arms around my head before I can squirm away. Cradling me on her lap, she caresses my hair and cheeks with the tips of her fingers. My crying stops as I process it all, feeling nothing but her softness embracing me. Marina begins humming, gentle and breathing. I recognize the song instantly. It's from Gramps' favorite tape. She probably doesn't know the significance behind it. I'd never even told her, but she remembered it. After all the times I've looped it, she remembered. The tears come back, but quieter this time. She keeps humming regardless. It's a little choppy, and her voice breaking off in some places due to lack of air, but I adore it all the same. I cry and cry and cry, and letting myself go for the first time since it happened, all while listening to her hum, hiding in my warm, safe bubble with Marina bundled tight around me. Right now, she's the most important person in the world to me. So much warmth, I don't just feel loved, I feel a resounding sense of something that's even more special than that, and I want to build on it. Okay, so here's where things get real, alright? So clearly, this is where this has to stop. I will see you guys after a quick little cut. And we're back, just like that. You missed nothing. Alright, so obviously that's not something I can show. But suffice it to say, they had a super adorable romantic moment, and no doubt that I did some sort of adorable little edit or something. And, you know, there you go. So we're back. So the only thing, I was skipping too fast. I skipped one, and I think she said I wake up slowly, I think is what you missed. So it's the next morning. She woke up. There you go. You know, it's there you go. Anyway, the glow from the half-open skylight creeps in from above and shines down a strand of light onto the blanket. It drives the bed in two and slowly spreads across the room, casting off the morning shadows. My palm is warm and sweaty. Moving my fingers reveals my hand is still interlocked with Marina's. She never let go. I turn over and face her. She's still sleeping, curled on her side and laying on her arm, just so she can keep holding my hand. Soft and rhythmic, her breath brushes against my face. If I could, I'd watch her for hours. Trying not to wake her, I unchain my fingers, wriggling them until the numbness sets in and prickles away at my sleeping hand. Marina's nose wrinkles and the steady breathing stops. Swallowing, her eyes flutter open and she smiles. The day's first word slips out of her with a yawn.
Morning.
Sorry, did I wake you up?
She snuggles in closer and takes a deep breath, keeping her deep, wide eyes on me.
You sleep okay?
After the fire wave, Marina seemed unsure for a bit, but when I look at her now, none of that is there anymore. She's completely trusting. It's a little terrifying that I gained that trust so fast, especially since we pivoted around each other for so long. That kind of trust, that kind of responsibility, it's a very special thing. I had it with Gramps, and now Marina has given the same thing to me. From taking her to a gas station, finding treasure, and even fending off weirdos, she's put her trust in me to be responsible for all of it. Sometimes I wonder if I deserve it. Sometimes I have moments where I know I don't. Like when I can't find some lousy treasure, like when I'm not around to help her out of a jam, like when nothing I do can save someone, no matter how hard I try. Like when I just can't function. Like last night. Marina picks up on my silence, her expression fades from trust to concern.
Something wrong?
Nah, it's all good. Slept fine.
I lean over to kiss her forehead, but pull back halfway. Ripping off the blanket, I leap out of bed and stretch. Marina turns a crimson red and eeps, throwing the covers over herself as our clothes from last night lie in heaps across the room. I dig through the cupboard and toss her a change of clothes before slipping into my own and beginning our morning routine.
We got a big day ahead of us. Assuming traffic isn't crap, we should be in Palm Springs by late noon.
She peeks out from the blanket and grabs her clothes.
And then the festival.
Almost. We have about a day to kill.
I run the coffee maker and head to the bathroom to start brushing my teeth. Behind me, Marina is changing into her clothes. I can clearly see her in the mirror, but after last night, I'm not sure it matters anymore if I accidentally catch a few glimpses of her.
So, do you know what bands you'd like to see yet?
My voice is garbled, muffled by the toothbrush stuffed in the corner of my mouth.
Kinda. I have a few ideas.
Spit. Most of which are just bands me and Gramps liked.
We should look at the lineup later. See if there aren't a few bands you might want to check out.
Finished changing, she scoots in behind me, directing our eyes to the mirror as she rests her hand on my shoulder.
It's fine. I'll watch whoever you want to watch, Amber.
I watch the mirror as my face goes blank. Marina nuzzles against my cheek, bringing with her an aching burden that presses down on my entire being. Why does she believe in me so much, even when I'm such a wreck? The coffee maker beeps, saving me from being crushed by my own thoughts. I rip myself away from her.
Anyway, get ready. We're gonna hit the road as soon as you're done.
So, as obviously that cut was for so I don't get banned and dragged into the gutter and shot type of reason, but there's gonna be at least 2 more big cuts, but don't worry, I'll warn you when it gets closer, okay? But yeah, there'll be 2 more big cuts, don't worry. Unfortunately, as you probably been able to sense, the drama is not over. So unfortunately, the drama is not over. The worst of the drama is yet ahead, and we're getting pretty close, okay? So don't worry, I'm gonna cut it out for you guys, because this one is not pretty. None of them are pretty, but this one is bad, okay? So I will cut it and I'll fill you in when we get back, but we're not quite there yet, but you know, don't worry, we're almost there. I rush to the sink. Steam rises out of the cup as my shaky hand pours the coffee, splattering most of it on the counter. Steadying myself doesn't work. My body won't listen. The burning coffee splashes on my skin as I retch it to my mouth. It scalds my tongue and blisters down my throat. The pain sizzles all the way to my stomach. That was a really dumb move. I gasp out a short scream, but quickly muffle it with my hand. With tears forming, I turn and make sure Marina didn't hear it over the running water. Once I'm sure, I wipe my eyes. After several sharp breaths, I pour myself another cup. Yeah, see, tell me that was a good decision. She's clearly spiraling, okay? Clearly, she is spiraling. I drag myself to the driver's seat and slam my cup in the holder, then plant my head on the steering wheel. It honks. The handles from the bathroom squeak and the sound of water is reduced to a drip. A few moments later, Marina trots down the motorhome and hops into her seat. I jerk up my head.
All set?
Yep. But are you sure nothing's wrong?
Yeah, she's not stupid, Amber, she can tell. Forcing a smile, I turn the key and put the RV into drive.
Don't worry, everything's fine. Just a little tired.
Yeah, that's so, oh, for sure. Nothing's wrong. I just drank, like whatever, 5,000 degree coffee. It was fine. Marina studies me for a few seconds, then shrugs and looks out the window, happily staring at the giant thermometer outside. I pick up Gramps' favorite tape and put it in the player, still staring at Marina. Frowning, I catch a glimpse of myself in the rearview mirror. Please don't hurt her, please. Uh-huh. Buckle up. Just buckle up. It'll be great.
And it says here that there are giant dinosaur statues just up ahead.
Yeah, just buckle up, all right? It's not gonna be good. I hated this part of the first time I was through. I hated it then and I hate it now, but don't worry. This time, you guys aren't gonna have to see it. I mean, you didn't have to see it the first time, but I'm just saying, I'm not gonna go through it this time again. I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's great.
As you can see, she's a ray of sunshine right now. Darn it all, Amber, I'm so mad at you. Everything she's been saying for the past few hours has been zooming past me. It's not that I don't understand it. I've read that guidebook she's been pointing at for 1,000 times as a kid, but it's all being drowned out by the music and my constant thinking. The drive hasn't done much to soothe the budding anxiety inside me. In fact, I'd say it's just made it worse. After 4 states worth of desert and endless stretches of road, it's maddening to see if it gets mauled over by overpasses and the slowest, most painful, and rage-inducing traffic I've ever seen. With nothing but Gramps' tape to keep me grounded, it's been a battle to not go mental. My mind keeps wandering back to Marina, how we're together, what exactly that means, her trust, my responsibility, and the more I think about it, the more I think...
Oh, wow! Amber, look at how white the sand is. It's just like snow.
Her observations haven't been helping either. Whenever I'm about to make a breakthrough or convince myself I'm just thinking too hard, she pipes in, and suddenly I feel like I'm right back to where I started in Colorado. At least I could take solace in the scenery going back to something more familiar as we get closer to Palm Springs. Like Marina said, the sand is a lot whiter and looks almost as soft as cotton. It fades into fields of rocks and dry plants, trailing into expansive mountain ranges, all this just off the side of the road. It feels like the kind of desert people wander around and go crazy in. Something I could very much sympathize with. After all, wandering around in the desert and going crazy is how I met Marina. I think that's where the seeds of trust and responsibility were sown. At least I think that's why she trusts me, because I helped her. No, you idiot, it's because she loves you. Oh my gosh, she's so dumb! Anyway, and it's through the next few weeks that trust was built upon, cultivating in something maybe even greater than that. Marina became important to me, someone I had to protect.
Whoa, look at all the windmills.
I clenched down on the steering wheel. Oh, kids, here we go. By doing what we did last night, did I betray that sense of greater than trust? She saw me crying. She comforted me. I made a move, and... oh, God. The realization is like a punch in the gut. I want to swerve off the road and hurl my guts out. I used her. I used Marina. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. All right? Don't worry. We're very close to the cut. Any second.
Look.
Here it comes. She tugs on my sleeve and points out the window. As far as I can see into the hazy distance, an army of windmills line the sand and stretch all the way to the hilltops. Their wings spin down in unison, cycling with the steady wind. It's enough to snap me out of it, at least for a few seconds, but once the initial novelty wears off, I am right back to where I've been for hours.
I've never seen so many.
Marina sounds completely blown away, enchanted even. It's cute, but I need to think this through, really need to think this through.
Hey, do you think we could actually be quiet for a little while?
Yeah, she's just like, hey, could you just, like, not talk? It's like, yeah, there's Amber being a jerk. No surprise.
Oh, sure. That's fine.
Yeah, well, sorry, Marina. It's Amber is being a jerk. It's not your fault.
Thanks.
Oh, my gosh. She goes back to looking out the window, swaying to the music. So pure, innocent. And I took advantage of that. Oh, Amber, frickin' stop it. Frickin' stop it. Is that all I've been doing this entire time? Using her to make myself feel better? I don't even want to consider it, but it all adds up. I was lonely, didn't have anyone else, saw a cute girl, picked her up, and constantly used her to curb that, all while telling myself that I was just helping and protecting her. And then I convinced myself of more, hoping to forget that the most important person in the world to me. The tape clicks to a stop, jolting me back to reality. Oh, Amber, you make me so mad. I eject it and flip it around, fumbling with the tape as I shove it back into the player and press play. It starts off the same as always, the same static, the same first note, everything. But soon, the audio starts to slip, like someone is sliding on the tape. The music jarbles into something distorted and ugly, speeding up, slowing down, and going backwards all at once. I frantically push the eject button over and over, but it's too late. The deck spits out the tape, a string of tattered ribbon tangled around it. Marina is too captivated by something outside to notice what happened, but I feel all of it. Tears start to swell up deep inside me, but it just morphs into fury.
Check it out! That mountain still has snow!
Alright, I will show one more slide before we cut, alright?
God damn it! Shut up!
There it is. Alright, that's better. Perfect. Alright, well, here comes that cut I was talking about earlier. And I'll explain and we'll all catch up as soon as, we'll catch up in a while. I'll see you guys in a minute. And welcome back. Just like that, we're all reunited. Oh my gosh, that was just as horrible the last time. Ah, okay. Wow, that was just so much to take in. I hated that part of the first part with the first time I played it through, and I hated it this time too. Whew, man, that was not pretty. Okay, so to catch up, what you missed. Amber was being an idiot. She yelled at Marina a lot. The RV broke down. It blew something. My personal guess was from her ramming Mariah's RV a million times. Anyway, the RV broke down. Amber lost it. She yelled at Marina for way too long. It was not good. Marina did nothing wrong. They made it to Palm Springs. The RV's being fixed right now. They are in a hotel. Marina was in the shower. She came out. Amber is convinced that she has used Marina, even though she didn't. She is convinced that she did, and she has just told Marina that that she paid for her ticket, and she wants to send her back to her parents. She said that you could keep the gold. I'm gonna go to the festival, and then I'm gonna leave, and we'll never see each other again. And even though that she keeps telling herself, "Oh, I love her. It really hurts. I'm doing the right thing." She's an idiot, essentially. And they had this, and Marina snapped, and she yelled at Amber, which Amber deserved. And Marina yelled at Amber and said, "Stop treating me like a child." And there was a lot of swearing involved. She was upset, and there was lots of tears. And then Amber ran out because, you know, we've established she's an idiot. And then Marina is in the hotel, I guess, and that's where we are. So she just ran outside, and now she is meandering, and this is where we are. So that was the big bad drama that I was waiting for. But don't worry, from here on, it actually comparatively it gets better comparatively. There is one more cut that I'll have to make, and that one again is so I don't get, you know, flagged and my channel taken down and I get shot or whatever. And yeah, so, you know, there'll be a couple more cuts, but I think there'll be one more major cut. But I think that we are going to finish this game today, especially after editing. We'll just have to yeah, we're just gonna go through. Let's just do it. Anyway, the crowd moves on. I don't bother raising my head, allow myself to be dragged along wherever they're going. My hand is tucked deep within my pocket, playing around with the cassette and its string of tattered ribbon. The hotel is far in the distance now, lit up against the darkening sky. Marina's probably still up there crying. I let go of the tape and force myself to keep walking through the clammy misters attached to shops and bars. It's not my business. It's what's best for her. Idiot. But it hurts. Everything hurts. It's because you're an idiot. I keep expecting Marina to come skip after me and lean on my shoulder so we can explore the town. Well, she's not going to because you brought this all on yourself. Or better yet, chew me out and punch me like I felt like I can justify after what I've done. Yeah, I would love that too. But I know that's not going to happen. She's too sweet for that. She's Marina. And I don't want anything to ever change that, me especially. I can't be trusted with something that precious and not screw it up. Not again. A shrieking laugh shatters my trance. Whipping around, I find a small building squished between a thrift store and a pawn shop. I pull to the side and peek in, wanting nothing more than to forget about everything. It's smaller than the RV, an entire middle dedicated to 4 mismatched bars set up in a square surrounded by cheesy island decor and streamers hanging from the ceiling. Under it all, a legion of girls. Tall girls, girly girls, redheads, blondes, and brunettes, all crammed inside and chatting each other up in a festival of free-flowing drinks. I get to see myself blush in real time thanks to the window. The rest of the bar probably does too. I must look like an idiot. I don't leave though. Sitting at the bar beneath the red and pink party lights is a slim girl with shaggy rainbow-dyed hair. She sways on her stool as she laughs with the bartender. Her shape's outlined in tight jeans. I'm not going into that, alright? Self-editing for the win. I can't buy her a drink, but then again, this is the best place for it. Maybe Catching a glimpse of me, she turns to the window and gives me a big, bright smile. Images of Marina flash through my head. Images from last night at first. You know, things that happened. Anyway. So, oops, sorry. Okay, that one was my bad. Sorry, this was a flashback of adorable events. That's my bad. Didn't mean to skip it. And then the Valley of Fire. Finding all the pieces of the treasure, helping her on the side of the road. There we go. Sorry, I skipped that first flashback, but we got to see the second one. My bad. But the images that stick out are the quiet times. Me driving on the highway while Marina sways back and forth to my music. I back away, then take off as fast as I can. Am I that disgusting? Was that all Marina was to me? I slap myself. Then when it barely stings, I do it again, smacking myself so hard that tears beat in my eyes. Blinking them back, I swallow and keep running. Yeah, what an idiot. One by one, the shops vanish behind me. The sidewalk thins, then disappears. Eventually, it's too dark to even see the ground, and I'm running under unfiltered starlight. When I finally stop, my shoes are heavy with sand. I wilt over and suck in huge gasping breaths. Forcing myself to look over my shoulder, I realize I'm surrounded by sand dunes and rocky hill ranges. I have left the city far behind me. My footprints prove that. Some kind of cactus are scattered at random, like sorrowful people brooding over the moonlight, their prickly limbs reaching for the sky. I settle my breathing and listen to the sounds of the desert. A gust of wind stirring the dry air, a crackly yelp of a coyote, the whimsical horns and hypnotic guitar strums of faint ska music. Wait. Now I really am disgusted. Squinting at the horizon, I catch a glimpse of an unmoving light. It's faint and alone, but it's definitely there. Pressured by some kind of masochism harbored deep within me, I follow the light. The closer I get, the more I know I should turn back, but my fears are proven to be right as I approach the sound. A black motorhome with stripes just as hideous as the music blasting from it. With every screech of a trumpet, my ears bleed a little more. Every time the guitar plays that stupid, unchanging rhythm, I die inside. But the worst part is something I've never been subjected to before. Singing. If you can call it that. Not from the song, but from the familiar brain-piercing wail masking over it. It's awful, like a dying siren trying to reel in one last anchor. Covering my ears doesn't help. I only wince in agony as it reaches a high note, probably killing any wildlife in the general area. Someone needs to stop this. I march to the door, wondering why I'm even going to bother. After everything she's pulled, why should I when I can just go about my life? But then she reaches the chorus. Yeah, that's why. I give the door 3 solid bangs that make the singing stops.
Ha! I knew you numbskulls couldn't live without me.
Yeah, if you guys really want some ridiculousness, buckle up. Mariah swings the door open. She's flushed, dangling a glass bottle from her hand, only to be silenced to a single sniff upon seeing me.
You suck at treasure hunting and singing. Go figure.
She slams the door in my face. I knock again. It's delayed, but she reopens the door, her head cautiously peeking halfway out.
You've taken everything from me. What else could you possibly want?
Yeah, if you guys really want to get how messed up Amber's head is right now, buckle up, because this is just when you're just shaking your head. You're like, why though? Anyway.
Your soul.
Give me the treasure and you got a deal. I'll throw in the slackers too.
That's probably not gonna happen.
She leans out the door, nearly stumbling over as she peers from side to side.
Where's your better half?
I look down. How do I even answer that? Mariah growls and limps towards her refrigerator.
Come in.
May as well. No one is waiting for me anymore, and yelling at Mariah is as good a distraction as any. I climb in. My nose is instantly assaulted by the smell of rancid beer. And whiskey. And vodka. And there might even be traces of a skunk. I decide to breathe in through my mouth. The couch and the cot are both empty, no lackeys to feed into Mariah's delusions of insight.
Where are the other 2?
Head in the depths of her fridge, Mariah only snorts.
Tess wanted to see some stupid walk of fame, so Joe took her.
Palm Springs has a walk of fame?
According to the squirt.
She leans back out of the fridge.
How old are you?
19. Why?
Close enough. Drink.
With a loose throw that I actually have to die for, she tosses me a bottle. The print is in Spanish, carved into a thick glass just above the label. I tried pronouncing it, but it comes out sounding depressingly American.
You should be worshiping me. That's the good stuff.
I'm ecstatic.
I think she's too far gone to notice the flatness in my voice. Even if she did, I doubt she'd care, with something resembling happiness on her face as she cradles half a dozen or so bottles to the couch.
You gonna drink all that? Haven't you had enough?
Go die. You stole my equipment and my treasure. I'm not letting you steal my 40 ounces to freedom.
There you go, kids. Isn't this just a sight? I shrug and flop down beside her. Mariah drunkenly reaches for the remote, misses it twice, then switches off the music and hurls the remote across the room.
Finally, thank you. I hate ska.
Mariah snarls at me like a toothless piranha.
It's reggae, you uncultured brat!
That's so funny that she's like, oh, I hate ska. Like, that wasn't even ska. She slips back down.
This guy's okay too.
Uncultured. You were the one who wanted to blow up Shiprock.
It was a suggestion. Suggestion. I don't have nearly enough TNT for that.
The fact you even have it is what bothers me.
Whatever. At least I know what I listen to is good. I like whatever you're into.
Yeah, I actually would almost agree with Mariah. Like, Amber's taste in music, this weird hippie music is weird.
Oh, I can assure you, what I listen to is better than ska.
Although that might be true, ska is really just kind of not good.
Reggae.
Reggae is not bad.
Jazz fusion, new age, world music, all better than your circus noise.
I'd have to see an example of any of the three of those to even know what those are, but just the way that that's pronounced makes me sound like it's like some weird hipster crap.
You actually like that hippie dippy crap? What Volkswagen did you fall out of?
Got him.
The one that hit your mother when she was pregnant with you, apparently.
Ouch! Bird! We both click our tongues. Without looking, she pops my cap with the bottle opener, then hers. Giving a half-assed drink of our bottles, we take a swig. The swampy drink trails down my throat, setting my chest on fire. My experience with alcohol is really limited. Gramps didn't keep a lot of booze around, and when he did, it was always a mead or wine. I only snuck some out a few times for special dates.
Gotta say, you're a lot less bearable without the dits holding you on a leash.
Shut up!
That's too real. She barely held the flame to the fuse, and that single word is enough to make everything inside me go off.
Don't you talk about her that way! She's a kinder, more caring person than you'll ever be!
Mariah scrunches her nose like my outburst didn't make any sense to her dumb drunk face.
That's not a very high bar.
She's not wrong, but she couldn't have at least tried defending herself? I groan and let my blood simmer down, but not before spitting out one more shot of venom.
Whatever. It's not like you're any better. You're a mess without the other two keeping you in check.
Hey! Don't get any ideas. I'm the one keeping them in check. They'd be dead by now if it weren't for me.
Sure, Mariah. I pinch the bridge of my nose and shake my head with a short laugh. Whether or not I choose to accept that Mariah exists in my reality, she's at least something familiar. Comforting probably isn't the right word for it, but she's someone to talk to.
Why are you here anyway?
Barely.
Who even knows? Joel mentioned something about a music orgy thing.
They're going to Coachella, lols.
Music orgy? You mean the festival?
Yeah, that.
Huh. And you went along with it? I guess that makes sense. You guys are a thing, right?
Building up from a bunch of snorts, Mariah bursts out laughing.
Me and that slacker wouldn't be a thing if the planets collided, wiped out everything, formed a mega planet, and we had to repopulate.
I will gotta say though, whoever is voice acting Mariah has done a fantastic, like, drunk voice. Fantastic. Definitely, you could believe it, right? Not every drunk sounds like that, but you could believe it. You could see what she's going for. Well done, for sure. Why do I get the feeling that this exact scenario has been played out in her journal multiple times?
Besides, there's more important things to focus on. Or at least,
She looks at the drawer again, then glares at me.
there were.
I hide the temptation to laugh in her face and take another gulp.
So nothing, huh? You grow up with someone and don't feel the tiniest thing for them?
She takes another swig, but this time just gives the wall a dry, blank stare.
If he's still single in 10 years, maybe I'll marry him out of pity.
I feel like it's an inevitability, to be honest. I bet she'd marry the treasure in a heartbeat, though. Probably do more than just marry it.
What about you and the Dips? Aren't you two going to the music orgy together?
Her eyes narrow.
I'll kill you if that's what you're using my treasure for, by the way.
I don't answer. Looking at her, or looking at now, or my now near empty bottle instead.
What? You two have a...
Oh, sorry.
What? You two have a fight?
Fun fact, I just found this out. Did you guys know you can use the mouse wheel?
What?
Wow.
You two have a fight?
Hey, that's cool. If you scroll back up, you can go back. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Something like that.
I bet it was because of the gold. No honor among thieves, I'll tell you.
No, nothing like that. It's hard to explain.
I'm an idiot, and Marina is a victim, and there you go.
Well, I don't really care, but go ahead and moan if you want. It's not any different than what you usually do.
Now, if before we get into Amber's rant of stupidity, before we get into that, this will be Mariah's best moment in the whole game, which honestly is not that hard to choose from because her moments are few and far between. But if you had to choose one, this was the one to choose. This is like, after this whole scene is over, this is a point where you're like, thank you, Mariah, well said, or whatever. Like, this is her shining moment. The first time I played this through, that was literally what I said. Thank you, Mariah. That's what I said. And I can't wait to show you guys her crowning moment. Are you ready? I look at Mariah, who doesn't seem particularly interested in downing more beers than anything. She's a maniac, that she always has been, and still is, abundantly clear. She probably would tear apart the entire Southwest if left unattended. Hell, maybe even the entire nation. She's no Joe. No way she could hold up an actual conversation. No way she could accidentally offer some good advice. No way she feels any sympathy. Still, I feel like I can vent to her. Not trust her, not after the RV chases and games of blackjack, but vent. She doesn't care, but maybe that's what makes it so appealing. I stay silent and stare at the ceiling, mulling over everything that's happened, searching for the right words I couldn't even give to Marina.
I said that I don't care. Not that I'm willing to wait all night so you can steal my time, too.
Got him.
Just give me a minute. I'm not really used to this.
Whatever this is. Taking a deep breath, I look past Mariah, unwilling to let her see my shame. The single shred of pride I have left snaps, and I let all the weaknesses come fumbling out.
I met Marina a little after my grandpa died. He was
My chest tightens.
my best friend. My parents didn't want me, but he did. He raised me in that motorhome. He didn't have to, but he took care of me anyway.
Mariah sips at her beer, listening in silence. No smarmy remarks or diluted rambling.
So, when I was a kid, I decided I was gonna take care of him too. Gratitude, you know? Gratitude for a lot of things. His love, his acceptance, the music.
I stifle a laugh.
God, the music. The goof could spout random trivia about the weirdest music. Bands you've never even heard of. But I loved it. And I loved him. It sounds dumb. A little girl feeling responsible for some full-grown geezer. I didn't care, though. I wanted to prove how much he meant to me. And that's how it worked for the longest time. But then he got sick.
I funnel down the beer and reach for another one. Mariah shoves her hand in front of me and pops off the cap, right as the next cycle of heartbreak starts closing in. I whisk back the bottle and force it down. Soapy foam rushes to the top and spills over as I pull it back. Mariah only shrugs.
That festival? He was the one who bought those tickets. It was gonna be our trip. That didn't happen. I failed at my job. But I could at least take the trip for him and try to make up for it. Then I met Marina.
A smile slips onto my face. Despite everything, even just saying her name makes me feel cheerful.
She was really cute and needed a ride, not to mention oblivious. Maybe it was just instinct, but I wasn't gonna let someone so innocent fend for themselves in the desert. I didn't plan on sticking around for long, but when we found the first part of the treasure, I don't know. I told myself I was gonna stick with her because I had to pay off Gramps' hospital bills and funeral. But the truth is, I stuck with her because it felt like it was a second chance. I could do some good. Help and protect someone who really needed it. And the closer I got with Marina, the more I felt like she was my responsibility. But even more than that, when I was with her,
My voice cracks, trembling under the weight of my words.
I was happy. It was like Gramps was never even gone. Then I remembered he was, and I completely shut down. Marina tried comforting me, but I just took advantage of her. When I woke up, I realized that's what I'd been doing this entire time. I was never protecting her. I was just using her to cope with Gramps. So I bought her a ticket home. She yelled and cried, but I did it anyway. I didn't just fail Gramps. I made this trip about me, and I hurt Marina. I don't deserve to be happy, and I don't deserve her.
Soaking in the silence, I blink away an annoying watery speck in my eye and fight back a few sniffles.
You done?
Yeah.
Mariah polishes off the rest of her drink and slams it down, rattling the other empty bottles on the side, on the table, sorry. Smacking her lips, she stretches her neck, each bone cracks one after another, sounding off in a delayed trail. Then she turns to me and speaks.
You're a dumbass.
Thank you. Thank you, Mariah. I pause.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Mariah launches herself at me. I wince as her breath streaks out. The smell was bad before, but now it's like she rinsed her mouth with whiskey.
God, you piss me off.
A growl emerges from deep within her throat as she looks me over. Then, as if acting on simple instinctive desire, she delivers a stiff smack to the back of my head. For a split second, everything is a fuzzy white. The infuriating image of a snarling Mariah greets me as my vision fades back, partnered with an even more infuriating throbbing.
Ow! What the hell? Why are you hitting me? I just spilled my guts to your jerk ass.
Shut up. I'm talking now.
Mariah stumbles off the couch, gripping the table for support. Her face has darkened by several shades of red since I've gotten here.
Listen here, thief. Dad is dead is dead. Your dear old granddad ain't crying up in heaven because you decided to do some bride in the back of his RV.
Her words burn right to their fiery core. I can't believe I ever thought I could count on Mariah.
Where'd you even get off saying?
I said shut up.
Thank you.
Get over your snooze fest of a sob story. You got the girl and you got my treasure. But no, you can't be happy because of some stupid phony sense of obligation. And that's another thing.
Her voice gets louder as her words get sloppier, slipping and sliding over each other. I couldn't even get a word in if I tried. All I can do is listen stone-faced as the lashings keep on coming.
Who the hell do you think you are? What gives you the right to be some self-righteous guardian? You don't look after people because you have to prove yourself. You do it because...
She stops and scratches her head. I lean in, my breath frozen by anticipation, as she tries to decode her own logic.
Because you just do. Okay? I swear, that annoying complex of yours is gonna smother you and everyone else.
Mariah grabs another bottle and swings it straight down on the sharp corner of the table. The cap somersaults through the air. By the time it lands, she's already chugged most of it.
But I used her.
That's right. Obligations, second chances, complexes, none of that means anything because it's all said and done, and I use Marina to make myself happy.
You call that using? Give me a break. I use those slackers all the time. That's using. And you know what? Who cares? That just used you to find the treasure, didn't she? Hell, if anything, you probably don't use her enough.
I'd feel like a real jackass if some dumbass were calling me all the time and all I could do was sit there. People use people all the time. That's what makes them family.
There you go. Mariah takes one last swig of her beer, then with a glint of sadness in her eyes, stares into the empty bottle.
So if you're gonna hate yourself, find a reason that doesn't suck.
Her face murks from red to a sickly green. The bottle falls from her hand and onto the floor as she rocks side to side, like a sailor that's lost their sea legs.
Hey, you don't look so good.
For a quick moment, Mariah cheeks blowed out, then just as quickly she
I'm
swallows.
fine. Just need to drink it off.
She wobbles back to the couch and collapses next to me. Neither of us speak. Mariah groans, holding her stomach as she feels around for the bottle opener. I look at the pile of empty bottles building up on the table.
What happened to not caring?
I don't. I just prefer my treasure not being in the filthy hands of an idiot.
Thank you, Mariah. There you go. Like, everyone's hats off for Mariah. She said what needed to be said, even if her logic is just so interesting. Regardless, she said what needed to be said, so we all owe her something, that's for sure. Did I just get chewed out by Mariah? Even worse, did some of it actually make sense, or is it just the booze? Unable to spare the energy to lean forward, she stretches her arm way out for another beer, but I catch it just in time to grab a hold of her hand.
You need to quit! You've had way too much.
Eat me.
She slaps my hand away and snags 2 more beers, shoving one of them into my stomach.
You're an idiot, but whether or not you want to keep being one is up to you.
I don't know. I need to think about it.
Mariah rolls her eyes.
Dumbass.
There you go, she passes out. Thank you, Mariah. Well done, and we all owe her tremendously. Nothing she says burns anymore, and now it only stings with the acidity of truth. Getting over it, letting Marina really letting her in. Wait, back up. Getting over it, letting Marina in, really letting her in. There we go. It's just not that easy. It's never been that easy. But if I don't, putting away my hand on my thigh, I squeeze the outline of the cassette. Mariah raises out her beer and grunts. Sighing, I raise up mine and we clink them together.
Jerk-ass.
Hey, there you go. Thank you, Mariah. Everyone's be sure to thank Mariah for her sacrifice, for saying what needed to be said. Finally, massaging the drunk away, I nurse my head as it pounds in rhythm with my heartbeat. The table has become a stockpile of empty promises and broken dreams, foundationed beneath an even emptier bottles. Mariah is still at my side, slumped over and passed out. She might be a super heavyweight, but I decided to stick around and keep an eye on her. Soon, Joe and Tess will be back and they can take care of the rest. I watch the slight movements of her chest as she breathes in and out. Seeing her so quiet is eerie. It's hard to believe there's still a person underneath all that yelling and obsessiveness, but there she is. People use other people all the time. That's what makes them family. It sounds gross and awful, but those words that have been echoing inside me since she said them. I use Marina to cope. There's no denying that, but Mariah said that Marina used me to find the treasure. If that's true, then why don't I feel used? Why did I always feel genuinely wanted by her? She relied on me. Is that using? That's all I've ever wanted her to feel like she could do. Wait, what? That's all I ever wanted her to feel like she could do. Her trust was the most important thing to me. But no matter how much I wanted it, I knew I didn't deserve it because I felt like I was betraying Gramps and would just drag her down with me. What about her, though? Marina was furious when I left, but she wanted to understand. She wanted to help. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing Amber did, is Marina tried repeatedly to get through to Amber. She's like, just let me just talk. Just tell me what you need. Tell me how I can help. And Amber just shut it down. So there you go. Anyway, and so, by the way, that was another piece of this whole thing, was Marina was trying to help after she was getting pissed off, and Amber was not having it. So there you go. I wanted her to rely on me, but maybe she wanted me to rely on her too? Oh, no kidding! Wow, that's... What? Whoa, what a revelation! Oh my gosh, everyone stop the presses, write it down in your journals. Incredible. She figured it out, everyone. I wanted her to rely on me. Maybe she wanted me to rely on her too. Wow, that's... Oh man, what a revelation. Shout out to Amber, everybody. Shout out to Amber. Reaching into my pocket, I pull out the cassette and hold it into the palm of my hand. The sight of the ribbon all torn and tangled doesn't choke me up or ignite a bitter explosion of anger like earlier. All it does is serve as a numbing reminder of all my regrets. Her wording was off, but Mariah was right. I never let myself rely on Marina. From the very start, I always treated her like a kid and never as an equal. No kidding. No wonder she got upset. She wanted to do as much for me as I was doing for her, but I would never let her in long enough for that to happen. Of course she wouldn't say no if I made a move. It was the only opportunity she had. If I go back as I am now, things will never get better. I'll just keep treating Marina like a kid, never letting her in, and she'll just smile and bear it until she explodes, like earlier. I know what I have to do, and yet it feels more like a betrayal than anything I've done this far. But if I don't do it, then I can never truly hope to do right by Marina. I stagger to my feet. Turning around, I take one last look at Mariah before I decided to take off her bandana and lay it out on her side.
In another life, maybe you would be my type.
Yeah, there's a power couple for you. Then I walk to the door, take a breath, and step outside. Man, wow, that's just interesting to be sure. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the simplest logic in the universe was lost on her for so long. like, yeah, no kidding. It's because Marina is only a year younger than you, and even if she has less life experience, she's not a moron and she's not a child. Like, oh my gosh, what an idiot. Anyway, the night sky is deep and clear, embedded with a rich blue draped behind the glow of constellations. Its light is all that guides me as I sledge my way through the thickness of the sand, wandering from Mariah's RV with a destination of nowhere. Finally, I've gotten far enough, where the haze of the city lights can't be seen and where the distance of the motorhome can't be gauged. I'm alone. For the first time, I'm truly alone. Free from the treasure, free from the festival, free from the responsibility, free from even Marina. Sitting down, I sink into the sand and look at the stars.
Remember that time in Wyoming? When we camped out on the Great Plains? The whole sleeping under the stars thing seemed like the coolest idea ever to little me. You were so excited to teach me about the constellations. Didn't matter that you sucked at astronomy, you just kept mislabeling them. I made sure to read up on them later, by the way. That was the Big Dipper, not Hal's guitar. But that's okay. I still got a kick out of it. Besides, that's not the type of thing I expected to learn from you anyway. What I really remember from that trip was the s'mores. Pretty sure you only liked them burned because you were so old. Really stuck with me, though. Can't have s'mores any other way now. I think I may have converted someone else to the burn side, too. She has a huge sweet tooth, though, so I shouldn't be too surprised. Still, it made me really happy when she said she liked it.
I stare down and pet the cassette, feeling my thumbs over its holes and brown blotches and stains.
I think you'd like her a lot. She's a sweetheart. Always cheery and nice, even when she really shouldn't. Don't know how she does it, but she can somehow deal with me and my moods. This is her first time ever leaving home, and it shows. I worry about her a lot. Kinda like how I worried about you. Kinda like how I still do.
A tear drips onto the cassette. I didn't even notice it trailed down my cheek or the rest.
Maybe I got attached too easily and really did use her. But I don't want to leave. I love her so much. And I want to prove I'm worth loving too.
Hey.
Would you hate me? Would I be letting you down if I decided to be happy instead?
I gaze back up at the sky through my blurry vision. The stars don't answer back, they just keep twinkling. I lower my head. The cassette falls like lifeless dead weight in my palm. It feels like lifeless dead weight in my palm. My breath shakes and the next words slip out in a whimper.
I'm sorry.
I dig my fingers into the ground, scraping away the sand as sharp grains nudge between my nails. A shallow hole forms, a pile of dirt lying next to it. I can barely stomach looking at the cassette as I lay it down in its grave. I glance away as I slide the dirt back over the hole. When I look back, the corner of it still sticks out, only partially buried. It's reaching out, grasping for me. I cover my eyes and pinch away the tears. It's still there. It always will be there, but now I don't have to acknowledge it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, buckle up, guys. It gets better. I swear it gets better, all right? So, all things aside, okay? All joking aside, and me not being able to stand Amber's blindness, all right? Putting all that aside, I'll say this. I do feel sorry for her, obviously, right? She was raised by her grandfather. She's never knew her dad. Her mom is worthless. You know what I mean? She was raised by her grandfather out on the road. She's had a rough life so far, okay? And she finally found someone, and obviously she didn't have the best, there's things that she's learning, like any person does. She was learning, okay? And you can't really blame anyone for that. And ultimately, I feel sorry for her, right? Because she's just trying to figure things out like everybody does, right? So I feel sorry for her, and I think it's proof that how painful it would be to get over the loss of someone or trying to learn these life lessons. Because the sentence right there is what always gets me the most. It was when she's like, would it be okay if I decided to try and be happy instead? And you're like, I have my own mental issues that have made my life definitely not as easy as it could have been. But you know, so I get that, you know. And all in all, I'm obviously, it gets better. She gets her happily ever after, so it's fine. But all in all aside, I do feel sorry for her, and I do want her to be happy. I feel like everybody does, right? So, joking aside, she is ultimately a good person. I'm sorry, I didn't read that. It said drenched in sweat. I try to get sand out of my mouth or something. Sorry. Memories from the night before start flooding back as I choke down a lump in my throat. The desert, the tape, the stars, and Marina. Sorry, I clicked too fast again. My head snaps to the sky. The sun is already a quarter of the way down with its cycle. Soon, if it already hasn't, the taxi will pick up Marina and I'll never see her again. All because I couldn't let myself trust Marina.
Damn it!
I slammed my fist down, kicking up a pitiful plume of sand. Even if I ran, I'd never make it in time. If only I had the motorhome. Wait.
Mariah!
She's just, Mariah! There's a chance that they still might be camped out nearby. Wiping the tears from my eyes, I spring to my feet and sprint in the direction of their motorhome, leaving the half-buried cassette behind me. Please still be there, please still be there. Sure enough, it's right where it was last night. I ran up and pound on the door, knocking harder and louder until someone answers. Looking up with wide eyes, Tess opens the door and stares at me.
Tess, is Mariah here?
Amber?
He's like, whoa! Joe slinks off the couch and joins Tess at the door.
Sheesh, you're a wreck. Everything okay?
Quick, the time!
She's like, what time is it?
Huh?
The time! What time is it?
He looks at the invisible watch on his wrist and switches between the walls before Tess digs in her shorts and hands him a chain pocket watch.
10 o'clock, apparently.
He turns to Tess.
When did you start carrying this around?
Why the hell's it so freaking loud?
Just Mariah from the back. A bottle comes hurtling towards Joe, but he ducks at the last second, letting it shatter against the wall.
Oh yeah, she smashed the last one.
15 minutes. There's still time.
If you drive like a madman.
Whoa, slow down a sec. Time for what?
I know this is short notice, but I need a ride.
In like 15 minutes.
A ride? Now?
I said shut the hell up!
Another bottle comes flying towards him, but this time Tess hops and snatches it out of the air. He looks across the room, then back to me.
Now's probably not the best time.
Sis's hangovers are lethal.
No! We need to leave now!
She's like, I don't care!
Do you not remember what I said I'd do with the jumper cables the next time you...
Nursing her forehead and lifting up another bottle, Mariah stomps over only to freeze once she sees me.
Mariah, I need a ride. Please. You were right. I made a big mistake, and if I'm not back at our hotel in 15, I'll never see Marina again.
The motorhome falls silent, all eyes on Mariah. Her face is blank, unreadable compared to all the crazy-looking scowls she usually wears. Finally, she speaks.
All right, let her in.
I'm really sorry, but you know how she... Wait. For real?
He's like, wait, what? Mariah closes her eyes and takes a deep, long breath.
Before I change my mind.
Joe and Tess shoot each other surprised glances, then shrug.
Well, what do you know? Miracles actually do happen.
The desert heat has thawed her icy heart.
There you go.
Yeah, just shut up and get ready.
There you go, everybody. I hop in, the other two scurry around and batten down the hatches, strapping shut all the cupboards and shelves. Grabbing her bandana, Mariah ties it around her head while I shuffle around and try to spit out a thank you.
So, I should probably...
We're all set. I'll take the wheel.
Joe rushes past us with the keys, but Mariah trips him and snags them from his hand.
No way! You drive like an old man. I'll drive.
No, I drive like a normal person. You just happen to drive like a maniac. Besides, you're hungover.
It'll be fine. Come on.
Yeah, we've already almost died before. What's a little almost death, right? They both dart over to the front seats and the RV roars to life.
Tess, hair of the dog.
Tess nods and runs to the fridge, grabbing a bottle that looks a lot like the ones from last night, except this one has a picture of the devil on it. She tosses it over to his sister, who showcases the same catching talent as her.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Slamming the bottle in the cup holder, Mariah sticks her head out the window and backs up the motorhome. Joe shakes his head, replacing the devil's brew with a nearby water bottle while she isn't looking.
You're going to need to hang on tight, by the way.
He's like, buckle up.
Huh? Why?
My question is immediately answered as I'm flung against the couch. Tessa's small frame crashes into me.
It doesn't hurt as much if you relax your muscles.
Poor Tess. She's like, if you just relax, it's not as bad. The RV speeds forward. The license plate wind chime dings in chaotic disunion as the bottles and cans roll across the floor, clanging together whenever they meet. Even the table is seesawing back and forth. I look at the window. Mariah flies onto the road, cutting off an entire lane of cars. The RV hits the ground and bounces. I manage to keep my head from bashing the car above me, but Tess lets herself get tossed around, rolling across the floor with the trash. Poor Tess.
So where exactly am I going? The hotel downtown. You'd have to be stupid to miss it.
Remember who you're talking to here.
Hotel? You didn't spend any of my treasure on that, did you?
Mariah glares back at me, oblivious to everything on the other side of the windshield.
I might have used a nugget to bribe the manager.
What? I'll kill you!
Save the cat fight for later. There are more important things to focus on right now, like the road.
The road will always be there, Joe. My treasure won't.
Yeah, Joe, the road will always be there.
Treasure or our lives?
I think everyone here already knows the answer to that one.
I had Tess do the math. The treasure's worth more than any of you. Watch out!
I had Tess do the math. A big rig comes speeding towards us, blasting its deafening horn. At the last second, Mariah swerves back into her lane as the truck barrels past us. The motorhome hits a bump and bounces up again. Unprepared, poor Joe's head hits the ceiling, knocking the light from his eyes. If I squint hard enough, I can even see his soul drifting away from his body.
Sis, I think Joey's dead.
About damn time. He was getting annoying.
Sis, I think Joey's dead. Tess salutes her fallen comrade. It's always the sane one who dies first. We zoom past the town's welcome center. It's not far at all now.
Tess, what time is it?
10:12.
I grit my teeth and glare out the window. Please still be there. Downtown comes into view. A strip of familiar stores and restaurants start forming. Mariah races down the street, ignoring all traffic lights and pedestrians as people leap out of the way and cars break into other lanes.
We're almost there. Get ready.
The hotel looms just up ahead. Through the windshield, I can see Marina holding on to a small suitcase as she prepares to step into the cab. I leap to the door and swing it open. Wind rushes through my hair. The motorhome is slowing down, but I don't care.
How are you doing?
I launch myself onto the street, tumbling across the burning concrete as the road tears against my skin. Ow! Immediately, I spring back up and dart towards Marina. Mariah screeches to a halt in the middle of the street, blocking anyone from driving through. The three of them hop out, Joe clutching his head as he stumbles out the door. So I'm sorry, I think I clicked on it, or maybe we saw it, but I don't remember if it said or not, but Marina was, the cab was there, and she was there on the curb with her luggage, okay?
Amber?
She's like, what the crap? You just bailed out of a moving RV. Mariah's RV. What's happening? Before she can get another word, I grab her by the wrist and throw my lips against hers. She pulls herself away and glares at me through her puffy red eyes. I plant my hands on her shoulders and steady myself as tears stream down my face.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
After what was said last night, there better be some apologizing. Marina freezes, then she slowly softens from a glare to a strain. I catch a lump building in her throat, too.
I thought you weren't coming back.
I know. I was such a bitch.
She was, I know.
I didn't mean any of it. I love you so much. I just didn't want to hurt you.
And that's why I hurt you horribly.
What? How could you ever hurt me?
It's a good thing Marina's a nice person.
I was scared.
The tears don't stop. The crying gets louder.
I was afraid I was using you because I didn't have grips anymore. I lost my family. I always wanted to help you, but I think I might be the one who really needs help.
Marina can't hold it back any longer and starts bawling in my arms, hugging me as tight as she possibly can.
Dummy, I'm your new family. I don't care if you use me. I love you.
I love you too.
This time, we both move in for the kiss. Two blubbering idiots trying to prove just how much the other means. Finally! Gee whiz! Told you it was getting better? Crap, that was hard to get to. I'm not sure if it's her tears I'm tasting or mine, but I can still make out the soft sweetness of her lips regardless. It's funny. This entire time, I thought I was the nucleus of it all. That I was the one helping her, or using her. But as cheesy as it sounds, I think Marina has been the one helping me from the very beginning. Yeah. because you're cynical and depressed, and she wasn't. That's why she was helping you. Through the kissing, I catch a glimpse of the trio, Joe covering Tess's eyes as he slips Mariah a bill. There you go. He's like, oh, they were. I'll give you that bill back. We managed to compose ourselves enough to pull each other away, but we never let go of the other's hand. Rolling her eyes, Mariah unties her bandana and tosses it to me.
You both look disgusting. Here.
Thanks.
I wipe away as many of my tears as I can before passing it along to Marina, who blows into it like a trumpet. She sniffs, her nose red and tears still leaking out, then hands the drenched cloth back to Mariah, who gives it to Joe. He cringes as he dangles it from his fingers.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
It's just that cracks me up. It's just like this, like I like how they could never get away from each other. Like these two groups always nearby, always there for each other's meltdowns. It's great.
Thanks to you three. I mean it. Especially you, Mariah.
She's just, yeah. For a moment, Mariah lowers her guard and almost smirks, then remembers it's just not her style.
Whatever. That doesn't make us cool or anything. I still despise you.
Despite the fact that I brought you back from the brink of stupidity.
It's true.
Yeah, she hates her guts.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Everyone needs a rival. Marina giggles and I bring her in closer, then suddenly I remember something.
Oh,
I bend over and dig through Marina's suitcase, bringing out a single gold nugget and passing it to Mariah.
figured yours was getting lonely.
Mariah stares at her hand, the other two gathering around her.
How about that? You ended up getting the treasure after all, Mariah.
It seems bigger than the one we have.
Finally defeated, Mariah looks up and sighs.
I guess we can probably pawn it off somewhere.
She walks back to her motorhome, waving along the other two.
Come on, let's go.
Let's get out of the intersection before we get arrested.
Well, see you two ladies down the road.
God, I hope not.
Tess looks back and forth, then scurries over to Marina and gives a quick hug around her waist before following the other two.
Bye.
And with that, they speed off, leaving a trail of property damage behind them as they beep their loud-ass horn into the distance. Marina and I are left alone, the cab long gone. Between small spurts of laughter, we thumb away each other's tears, just happy to be together again.
Hey, let's go pick up the motorhome.
Yeah,
Hey! She sniffs one last time.
I'd like that.
Nailed it! Alright! Now we're cooking. Being back at the motorhome is familiar and comfortable, and with the repairs done, it should be a smoother ride than ever. It's a good thing that engine gave out when it did, rather than the day of the festival or something. Also, that we were so close to a town. The mechanic even dropped it off at the hotel for us, probably wondered how we could afford to stay there while driving a barely functional RV. We've already checked out of the motel, so this is home again. I wander back to my bed and sit down, glad for its familiar cushiness. Marina sits down next to me, our legs pressed together. The hinges squeak beneath us. Idly, I reach up and touch her neck, causing her to shiver. It's like touching her for the very first time because I can do it without guilt or regret. Yeah, that should have been easier the first time. Come on. Alright, anyway, I'm pretty sure that we know what's about to happen again, but this time there'll be less hurt and pain and stupidity involved. But I will go one... Yeah, alright, well, here we go. So I will see you guys after one more cut so I don't get abandoned. And just like that, welcome back. So I thought I was going to welcome you back a minute ago, but then it turns out it wasn't over yet, and I forgot. So we're welcome back for realsies this time. And it was great. You can imagine what happened, and there was a lot more connecting being done there, and that was fantastic. And there was it was way better this time around, just because Amber was less weird and like there was connecting. There was some funny moments or whatever, but obviously I'm not going to divulge pretty much anything else because if you want to see it, I recommend go playing the game. But we're back, and they've connected, and it's adorable now, and it's all happies and feels and everything, so it's great. Anyway, Marina skips over. Oh, wait, no. So first of all, back up. So they, obviously, the only thing you've missed is they woke up, and they're making, I think Amber's making coffee, and they had planned to only sleep for an hour or two, but then it turns out they slept the whole day away, and I don't remember if they've divulged or not what... There's another tiny little twist, but it's nothing crazy. So anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. Anyway, Marina skips over to where I am and leans into my shoulder while I wrap my arm around her.
Sorry, I shouldn't hold us up, huh?
Nah, this is okay.
Just for a moment. Then I pull away and grab a pair of mugs, passing one to Marina. I fill mine up with steaming black coffee, then hand her the creamer and sugar. But Marina shakes her head.
I'll try it how you drink it.
Please don't, you won't like it. Eyebrows raised, I pour her a cup.
You sure? It's a super acquired taste.
Marina takes a sip and scrunches up her face in disgust.
It's good.
Uh-huh.
She's like, no, it's not.
No, really?
She's like, it's great. Blah. She chokes on her next sip.
You don't have to drink it black just because I do, you know?
She's like, drink it because you like it. Don't drink it because I like it. It's not that good.
You said it's an acquired taste, though, right? So I want to acquire that taste.
It'll take a long time.
Right.
By the time I finish my first cup, she's only had a quarter of hers. She gets halfway through before she gives up and dumps in some sugar.
I'll acquire it later.
There you go. That's
Of
better.
course.
While she preps her coffee, I go over to the cabinet where we stash the gold. Aside from those, there's one other small, brightly decorated box. I take it out and set it on the counter. Marina instantly hops over.
Ooh, what's that?
Inside are 2 wristbands made of soft fabric. There are entrance passes to the festival. I pass one to Marina. Hers. Gramps. The tenderness with which she takes it reminds me of when she first held the gold, like if it fell, it would break.
Make sure you don't lose it, or you'll have to wait in the RV while I go watch.
You wouldn't.
I think about it for a second. Then I answer truthfully.
Okay, you're right.
She's like, yeah, you're right, I wouldn't.
But still.
There's a little tag that hangs off the wristband and Marina pulls to tighten it. Then she leans over and kisses my cheek.
I won't.
I slide mine on and tighten it as well, putting the box back in its safe spot. There's a lump in my throat over how it was always supposed to be me and Gramps who went. Marina touches my hand and smiles. I smile back. This is just as good, though. I swallow my sadness before it can take over and lead the way up to the front of the RV.
You ready?
Don't get concerned, guys. She's still recovering, okay? But there's no more drama. Drama is officially over, I can tell you, because I played it before.
Hell yeah!
Let's get this show on the road then.
Okay, so I think they already did say it then. So, when they woke up, they thought it was supposed to be an hour or two, and then they would, but she's like, but hey, but it's fine, you know, we have plenty of time before the festival tomorrow. But then they discovered, actually, it's not tomorrow, it's already the next day, so they slept, like, a whole day, like a 24-hour period or something. They slept a long time, like, they passed out long term. And then they woke up realizing it's actually the morning of the next day, so the festival is not tomorrow, but today. There you go. So I guess they already said that, and we had to miss it because of appropriateness. So, you know, there you have it. The motorhome grumbles as I turn the key, but the engine catches. I wait a second to see if it's gonna die, but it doesn't, though the whole thing shakes a little more than I'm used to. Slowly, I navigate out of the parking lot and head onto the main streets. It may be early, but there are lots of people out and about. Traffic is thick, with a lot of people probably going to Coachella.
See, this is why I wanted to leave early. It's normally only a half-hour drive, but this is crazy.
Think we're all going to the same place?
Maybe. At least a few.
Marina laughs.
What?
I just think it's kind of funny that this has happened the whole time. With the treasure and stuff.
That's true, always in traffic.
Everywhere we go, it's like traffic jam after traffic jam.
Yeah, you're right. Should be better after this, though.
Yeah, it will be.
We creep along until we reach a totaled car. It doesn't look like anyone was hurt, but it's the reason traffic was so slow. Once we get past, I can finally open the accelerate. The new and improved engine pulls its weight. Everything is much smoother and quieter. Soon, the city of Indio, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Indio, I don't know, comes into view super close to the California-Arizona border. Coachella is held just a few miles east of town. As we get closer and closer, our anticipation builds. It's easy to read Marina since she's bouncing and fidgeting in her seat. I am more composed, but I feel it too. We glance at each other at the exact same time and grin. We've been doing that a lot lately. At last, the huge line of trees that borders the festival grounds stands just ahead. I take the exit and join yet another long line of cars heading for the parking area and campground. Guests carrying coolers, chairs, and camping supplies crowd the edges of the unpaved roads, making us slow down. Finally, we find a spot and I kill the engine. Marina looks at me, waiting for me to say something. But I'm all out of cheesy speeches, so I just grab her hand and we both stand up.
Let's go.
The air seems to crackle with electric anticipation. It's on people's faces, and in the way that they move, the energy like a wave that flows over them. We all share a feeling of excitement and of unity. Every single person here has been waiting for months for this day to arrive, and it's finally here. High tents and portable stages dominate the space around us. Between those and the trees, and most of all the noise, you'd never guess that there's a city and highway just a couple miles away. Drum beats and muted chords float by as musicians do a few last-minute sound checks. They're barely audible over the sound of thousands of chattering voices. Folks of all different shapes, sizes, and colors mill around us. It's like social boundaries have been eroded. I think that's a sentiment Gramps would like. Idly, I use my thumb to trace a heart into Marina's palm. She squeezes back, probably unaware of what the shape was, but understanding all the same.
So, where do we go now?
Now we go stand in line while they check wristbands and let people onto the grounds. It's gonna be a while.
One more traffic jam, huh?
That's right. One more.
Even if I hadn't been mapping the grounds in my head, it'd be impossible to get lost. Bored-looking staff are positioned every few yards, holding signs with arrows and directions. Like molasses, the throng of people that we've joined oozes down the trail. We all hold each other back, the sheer numbers making for slow going. Nearly 100,000 people attend every year. That is a lot of people.
What time does the show start?
First bands are at like 11, but the ones we want to see are later in the evening.
What time is it now?
I use my free hand to shield my eyes as I stare up at the sky.
Maybe 10:30?
You didn't seriously just use the sun to tell time, did you?
What, you can't?
Not all of us were born in the wilderness, Amber.
Ha!
Hey, neither was I. Just raised in it. Besides, I checked the time before we got out.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I was about to say, like, wow, that's accurate. Like, I don't think you can, I mean, you might be able to tell some form of time, but I do know how to basically see how many more hours of daylight you have left. I can do that with the sun, because I used to watch a lot of Survivor, man. If you've seen that, good for you. But yeah, I can do that, and I can, obviously I know where noon is, because that's right when it's right above in the middle, so I can do that. But I can't tell, like, I'm not sure if you can, like, tell the exact time with the sun, unless you have, like, one of those sundial clocks or something. Anyway, whatever.
I'll have to show you how to use a sundial sometime.
Oh, there you
now.
go, sundial.
It's pretty handy if you're ever lost in the woods somewhere.
See, what did I just say?
Right, because knowing the time would definitely be what I'm thinking about then.
They're too real.
You should be. You'll want to know how long before it gets dark and cold so you can find shelter.
There's an easier method than a sundial for measuring how long you have before it gets dark. You just basically, you use your palm and you put it beneath the sun and you count how many palms until the horizon. And that's essentially, basically, how much daylight you have left, essentially. And it's way easier to do than a sundial.
I'll just ask you to do that.
What if I'm not with you?
Why wouldn't you be?
I kiss her right then and there. After the past few days, I was a little worried things would be awkward, silences and trailing off sentences. But no, it's like we never fought, never argued, like I never blew up at her. That might be my favorite thing about Marina. There's a growing list of those. She really thinks I can do no wrong. I don't know what I did to deserve her, or even if I do, but I'm pretty dang happy about how it all turned out. The line speeds up once we actually hit the festival entrance and are rushed through the gate. A pair of attendants pat us down. Since we're not carrying any drugs or weapons, we're waved on through. Passing underneath a broad opening display, we've officially arrived. Marina spins towards me, bouncing on her heels.
We made it!
Hell yeah, we did.
It's been a long journey. I think of everything we've done and all the places we've been, the people we've met, and how all of those led to this. I smile as I reach for her hand yet again, meeting it halfway since she went for mine too.
Food?
Food.
I haven't had a good meal in over a day now that I think about it. And once I do, I can't stop thinking about it. I lead the way to the food court, which is just a bunch of trucks and tents arranged in an aisle. Everything for sale is greasy but delicious. It's the kind of food that'll stop your heart but heal your soul. That is the greatest description of, like, super not good for you food. It'll stop your heart, but it'll feed your soul. It'll heal your soul. I like that. We pause at the closest truck to us to read the menu.
Amber?
Marina.
Is that, like, a typo or something? It says they have deep-fried candy bars.
Nah, those are really popular at fairs and festivals.
I've never tried those, and I doubt I ever will. That does not sound good to me. She gives me that I know you're making this up look that she's perfected.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm actually dead serious. Candy bars, pickles, snack cakes. You can get almost anything deep fried at places like this.
Ever had one?
No way. That's too much, even for me.
The thought alone makes me kind of queasy. So much grease. That's what I was just thinking, actually.
Order up.
To highlight my point, the guy running the fryer pulls out a crispy-looking blob. It's impossible to tell what it is because of the batter. After wiping off some of the oil, which doesn't seem to change much, he wraps it in wax paper and hands it to the person waiting by the window. He bites into it with a look of pleasure, though I still can't tell what he's eating.
Want something?
Vaguely green, Marina shakes her head.
Pass.
Yeah, wow, even Marina, good for you. Not much farther down the line, we find a regular pizza stand and order a couple of slices. There you go, that's much better. We stand a little out of the way while we eat, trying to keep the toppings from all sliding onto our rapidly deteriorating plates. Until when we're done, I drag a napkin across my face. It comes away orange with grease.
Missed a spot.
She leans over and wipes a dry spot above my upper lip, then kisses it.
Wait. Show me where again.
This time she doesn't dab before leaning in to kiss me. I can taste the pizza on her breath, or maybe it's mine. When we part again, we're both smiling.
You should check the sun. What time is it?
I make a big show of looking up at the sky, then back down and pretending to think hard.
I'd say it's time for us to get a watch.
Got him.
That is literally a joke that my dad makes. His dad probably said it, and it was probably old then. No, just no.
Too real. That is a joke that my dad has made, and I was thinking, yeah, that's probably because your dad made it, and it was probably old then too.
Ouch, tough crowd. I'm hurt. Really, though. It's probably a little bit past noon. We've still got a long time.
Wanna go check out some of the other bands?
Yeah, sure.
I pull out the schedule that we got by the entrance and pass it to her.
I don't really know any of these groups. Let me know if there's someone you want to see.
Marina skims over the list of names before she squeals.
Oh my god, yes! Them! I wanna see them!
She points out someone who's about to set up on the main stage.
Alright, that should be this way.
Literally bouncing with excitement, I lead her through the crowds.
What kind of music are they?
I have to shout now because the music is much louder over here. Marina presses close to me to respond.
They're rappers. 2 of them. Their new album got super popular. And they're even doing this version of it where all of the instruments are cats.
Of course, why not?
Right.
That's what she's thinking, like, what? I'm not really into rap, but whatever, it's not like we got anywhere else to be yet, and I'm pretty sure Marina still isn't super into super weird old people jam bands. We get to the stage right as the set ends. Because there are lots of people leaving, it's a bit like swimming upstream, but we managed to make it close to the stage.
How are you liking it so far?
Which part?
All of it.
It's kinda crazy, but it's fun. I like seeing all the different people.
Yeah, you get all types.
Bass booms from a speaker close to us. It's just playing a pre-recorded melody, but Marina sings along to a few of the songs. A little while later, the 2 rappers come out on stage and everyone cheers. I turn around, surprised at how big the crowd's gotten again. When I look back to Marina, she's not paying any attention to me, just grinning up at the stage. 40 minutes later, the pair leaves the stage to thunderous applause and cheers. Even I clapped for them. They were pretty good.
How'd you like it?
They were so good. So good. Whoa. If I'd known they were playing today, I'd have been even more excited for this. They're one of my favorite bands in the world.
Did you just not look at the lineup or something?
I guess not. I kinda thought all of the bands would be like what you listen to.
Yeah, weird new age crap. I burst out laughing.
I don't think they could sell out a festival like that. Not to this many people, at least. But it's fine. I like getting to hear new stuff, too.
That's how we spent the next few hours, going from stage to stage to watch bands I've never heard of. Sometimes they're groups Marina likes, and sometimes they just have a weird name. Around the time the sun starts to go down, we head back to the east stage where we'll see our last show of the day. Marina's in the lead this time. We've gone between the stages so many times that we have a good feel for how to get around. We find a spot on the little grassy slope and sit down.
Are you sure? Won't it be hard to see?
Nah, we've got a good view from here, and it seems like it'll be a small crowd.
Of course, small still means thousands of people here. It's just small compared to some of the other acts. Marina bumps my shoulder.
Excited?
Bit of an understatement.
Up on stage, there are banners and a giant cloth backdrop that hang from a bar. They have decorated with a familiar black logo that I could draw in my sleep. The breeze continues to shake and sway like it's as excited as I am. We're pretty severe outliers when it comes to the average age of this crowd. The rows of people in front of us are represented by a smattering of bald spots and bandanas. I'm about to make a joke of it to Marina when the band comes on stage and any words are lost in the deafening roar of applause. Beside me, Marina's voice joins the thousands whooping and yelling. Usually, I'm way too self-conscious for this sort of thing, but what the hell, I cheer too. With just a wave and not a word of introduction, they launch into their first song. It was the opening track on their second album back from before I was born. They've been playing this longer than I've been alive. It's a great song though, they're all great songs. The whole set is magical. They go from one song to another without stopping in between. If you didn't know the music, you'd probably think it was all just one super long track. Even though it spans a few decades worth of albums, everything flows seamlessly, like it was meant to be heard this way. At some point I close my eyes, though I don't notice myself doing it. I'm lost, but in a good way, with Marina beside me gently swaying. There's not a single sad thought in my head. For 40 minutes, everything in the world seems right. I marvel at the odds that my life could turn around entirely in such a short amount of time. Countless cups of coffee and gas station snack packs, 3 boxes of gold, 5 states, 3 weeks of dusty desert roads, that's what it took to get us here. All that and one faulty fuel gauge. I open my eyes and look at Marina. To my surprise, she's looking right back at me. She scoots a little bit closer and leans against me, her head on my shoulder. I put my head on hers, and together we rock in time to the music. Then it stops. Everyone cheers again. And the frontman holds up a finger. It's the first break there's been in the whole set.
One more song.
Then he plays those guitar strums I had come to know so well. The ones I was both dreading and looking forward to the most. It's the most familiar intro in the world to me, and of course it's their swan song. Gramps and my's favorite. I can feel Marina's worried gaze, wondering, like always, if I'm about to break down and cry. But this time, I meet her look, and I smile as I press my lips against hers. I'm with the girl I love, seeing my favorite band live as they perform their favorite song, What's Not to Smile About. Somewhere, I hope that Gramps is smiling too. If there's an afterlife, I hope that they get free tickets to the festival. A small, bittersweet tear leaks out of my eye, rolling down my face and onto our lips. I picture Gramps here beside me, not replacing Marina, but with us. I know he would have liked her. As the song comes to an end, I mouth just one word. Goodbye. Hey, another super sweet picture. And then it's over. I feel something change. Not a physical motion, but an emotional one. Something new. Something deep inside me feels right. The band bows. People are screaming their affections. It's over. We saw them. They performed. It's over. Beside me, Marina shifts to look at me with a coy look on her face.
Amber,
Yeah?
I think I know what I want to do with the treasure now.
We both lean in, for once knowing exactly what the other is thinking.
I think I do too. So where to next?
Hey, that's what they're gonna use their treasure for. They're gonna road trip. Hey! And that's it, everybody. We did it. Mission accomplished. And this music is so good. Oh, I love it. Oh man, that's great. You know, all in all, this game was a lot of fun. This was my second ever visual novel, and I loved it a lot. The music is fantastic. The story's really good. The characters are fun. Everything was all well made and super well done, and I loved it. It was a great deal of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And it's interesting to see their last name, actually, to see their last names, because you don't actually see it otherwise. See, like, his last name was like, what, Noel? And I don't even know how to pronounce their last name. Pastorius? I'm not even trying to pronounce that. Anyway. But this music is so good, though. Oh, it's so good. I love it. And all the pretty pictures and the super fun experience. Oh, it's so awesome, though. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. This series, time-wise, I mean, obviously this will be either my main video or our only video for the day. I have an idea what we might do next, actually. We might take a small Fallout 4 break. Not small, but just for today's videos. Might not be Fallout 4. And I have an idea what we might do. I think it could be fun, so we'll have to see. So here is some early art, I guess. Here's some early art on, like, while it was being developed and made and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And all the gorgeous backdrops and everything. Anyway, it was a good time. It was a good time. And I super loved it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I loved it. It was fantastic. I definitely got to add this song to my music list if I can find it. I'll have to add this song. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. If I had one, I don't know, if there was one thing I didn't like, it was the drama. You know that. So all in all,
good thing we were able to get tickets from that scalper. I was almost worried.
All right, actually, hold that thought. Let's go ahead and finish this thing, and then we'll talk about the game.
All that glitters is not gold. Except the gold. The gold always glitters.
You know, I've been hearing talk about a government caravan that disappeared somewhere in Texas. Was apparently transporting a ton of cash. It's the weirdest thing, though. No one can seem to find it.
What? And you're only telling me this now? You really are a slacker, aren't you? Come on, bozos. We've got some serious work to do. Every second counts.
Hey, and even the side people got a happily ever after. They're gonna go chase their next treasure. Congratulations to them. Oh, it's so good. Oh, that was so good. I loved it so much. Well, all in all, it's a great game. I enjoyed it tremendously. If I had one gripe, it was the drama. I didn't love the blow up, you know, and it's something that's actually a reoccurring theme with me, is what I've noticed. Is I love things with a good message. Something that you can pull away from and use in your own life. Something that gives you that feel good, like you went on a journey and saw some cool things. Something like that. As an example, if we're going to talk about movies, if you guys have seen the movie that's pretty new called Yesterday, and it's about like as if the Beatles didn't exist and only one dude remembered the Beatles, so it's like that. Now, there was lots of good takeaway and there was a good message there, and then, now I won't spoil in the movie, but there is a breakdown period where everything goes wrong and you can see it like building up to the climax of like the breakdown. Okay, well, a movie that's similar, that's one of my favorite movies, is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, if you guys have seen that. Now, that movie also had a very similar vibe. They both reminded me of each other a lot. Now, I liked Walter Mitty a lot more because there was no breakdown. There was no mistakes made on behalf of the character that led to like a big learning moment because they got punched with something that they did wrong. Now, Yesterday had that moment, and I love a good takeaway. I don't love the build up to the breakdown, and then even if it ends well and it's fine, but it always feels just a little bit less than it could have been had there been a good lesson without the breakdown. Now, Walter Mitty did that because there was no breakdown, like a mistake made on behalf of the main character or whatever that led to something horrible going wrong. Now, this is a great example of that. So Highway Blossoms, obviously, it's super good. I loved it a whole bunch. Now, there is another game that eventually we're going to play. I don't think we can play it soon, though, because the game lags without me doing anything in the background, because it's very pretty to look at. So there is a little bit of lag spikes, so I'm worried that if I tried recording it, it'll be super choppy. And so I'll have to do some tests to see, honestly. I'll have to do some tests to see if it's even an option for us to do on my channel, because I would love to do it. Because, so it's made by the same people that made this game. Now, but the other one, honestly, I liked it more because it actually had a fantasy setting. It's another Yuri visual novel, but it had a fantasy setting, and there was a few choices in it, but the music was like amazing. There were several scenes that literally made my jaw drop from like how gorgeous it was, and it was just like this, like as far as like a journey was concerned, whether it was physical or otherwise. But there was no crash from mistakes of the main characters. It cut out a lot of the drama of that, and I never liked that crash of mistakes made. Now, and this game had it, that other one does not. and eventually we're gonna play it. I will be doing a test to figuring out if we can do it on this computer or whether I'll have to wait till I have a new PC. I'll have to do some tests, and we'll just have to see how it goes. I have some hopes, but we'll see. Anyway, all in all, I enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys did as well. Because, yeah, this game was fantastic, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that there will definitely be more visual novels coming on my channel. I enjoy them. I enjoy them a lot. And some of them maybe we'll do blind. Maybe. I'm a little worried about doing stuff blind because if there's choices in it at all, I will get the perfect ending on my channel. I've done it for other games with choices in the past. I will continue to do that. On my channel, you'll always see perfect endings if I at all can help it, to the best of my ability. So, you know. And so we might do some blind. I know I want to do more of them. I know I love them a lot, and I hope you guys do as well. And so long as my computer continues to handle it, maybe we'll continue to do them. So, anyway, I don't think we're going to be recording Fallout because time-wise, this video obviously is much more the length of a regular video of mine, of my longer videos. So this will be my long video for today. As for my short video, I think I have an idea of a short video that we could do that I think would be kind of a fun goofing around. So I think we'll probably be hitting one of those. And other than that, though, I think tomorrow's upload should be normal as far as I know. And I think that's it, though. Anyway, that is going to call it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.